Hello everybody. Happy Thursday evening to you. Catching you with the Sidewinder here. That's right, a stream on Thursday night. So, my friend NINTENMAD is here with me again. He's going to be moving back to Florida tomorrow. So we wanted to do one more stream before he did that. So yeah, so we get another stream Sunday night, but we're going to do another stream tonight. We're going to be playing some multiplayer games. Okay, and this time we're not going to be doing them on the Sega Saturn, messing around with burned CDs, or any of that stuff. We're going to be dealing with some rock solid, reliable systems, knock on wood. So, yes, say hello, NINTENMAD.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, so we got a bunch of games lined up tonight on the Genesis, NES, SNES. So, excellent. Starting off with the all-time classic, one of my favorite Genesis games, Golden Axe. And please, like before, let us know if the audio levels are messed up at all. They should be good. We just tried sorting them out. So they should be solid. But please let us know if things are too loud or too quiet, etc. So yeah. As you can see, we'll be rocking them on the Wii emulator here. So we're going to have access to all these systems nice, quick, and easy. NINTENMAD, go ahead and hit plus on the controller. Let's say activate 2-player in this one. There we go. Hey Malice, I had a feeling you'd be here, but I'm really happy to see you.
Hey Mouse.
Alright, Golden Axe, 2-player. Give ourselves the full life, because we're going to need it. Let's rock. So you can get to the dwarf first. Right? I was like, he looks the closest to my avatar, so it's only appropriate, I think.
What's the difference between these two again?
So basically, Axe Battler is, he's like the balance guy. You know, he's like, he's not great at anything, but he's like solid all around. What's-her-face is, she's the weakest physically, but she has the best magic. Game volume a little loud? Alright, let me turn it down a little bit. Alright, how's that?
I'm gonna go for the jock man.
Yeah. Yeah, just tweak the volume, Mouse. How's it now? That's good, thanks. Alright, great. Yeah, let me know, too, if it messes up again, because a lot of these games have really different levels of volume output. So let me know if, it's too loud or too quiet anytime after that. Yeah, so we're going to avenge our buddy Alex. In the arcade version, you actually see Alex run up to the side of the screen here and die. But I don't know if it was a memory limitation or something, but they took that out of the Genesis version.
What's the magic button?
So it's A.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's the run.
Yeah.
Remember
The
that.
classic run animation. Yeah, Mouse, I had a Golden Axe on the brain after the last stream. We were chilling, listening to the music from the second one. These guys.
Hey, man.
The little Ronnies.
Yeah, this one definitely is a lot better graphically than 3.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Game is called Golden Axe, yet the only axe on screen is not golden. Curious! Many such cases. Yeah, it's a good point. I think Death Adder has the titular Golden Axe, but I don't even remember if when you finally run into him, if his axe is golden either, so who knows. This game doesn't know. I mean, the character NINTENMAD is playing as right now, his character's name is Axe Battler. Yeah, he's the guy fighting with a sword. So who knows what these guys were thinking.
Get a golden sword.
Yeah, maybe.
There you go.
I think Gilius, in the second game, he might actually have a golden axe. Although I don't know if it's the golden axe. Who
I'm
knows?
surprised I've been on this mount for so long.
Yeah. Oh, he jinxed it.
Yeah.
Yeah, we have a rule on this channel. Basically, it seems like whenever I'm streaming, the second I say anything like that, you're guaranteed to like eat your words.
Oh yeah.
So.
Of course, how it always is.
Yeah. This guy kind of looks like the dude from Double Dragon 2. He's like a Bobo.
It's a little creepy.
Yeah. Take your portions. I tried to play.
Is there friendly fire?
Yeah, there is.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta watch out. I tried to play through the campaign mode, if you can call it that, of Golden Axe the Duel on the Saturn last night. Game gets pretty hard. I wasn't able to do it. Oh, by the way, Malice, you know I broke the Saturn last time when I was trying to fix the laser? I actually managed to repair it with Gorilla Glue. I couldn't believe that worked. It actually worked.
Our sworn enemy Death Adder is in his castle. We'll take a shortcut through the Turtle Village. It's a weird name. Turtle Village.
Oh, you'll see why it's called the Turtle Village. This game's soundtrack is insane. So good. How'd I do it? I used Gorilla Glue, actually. So what happened was, I used to adjust the laser. There's like a little like potentiometer. It's like a little. It looks like a little plastic screw, basically. You turn that to adjust the strength of the laser. And when I was trying to do that, I pushed too hard, and it's like sitting on a suspended little circuit board, and it snapped, but not completely in half, but like, you know, enough to be like dangling, basically. So I tried just Gorilla Gluing it to like kind of get it back into place. Oh my god!
What's this guy doing?
Like caught in the trap of death. But yeah, fortunately, like the actual circuit components, like the tracers, the little bits of copper, were on the back side of that little circuit board, the part that I didn't snap in half. So by super gluing it, you know, with Gorilla Glue, it repaired the connection enough to actually make it work. So
some of these like compressed sound effects.
yeah, they're
It's
insane.
fucking hilarious.
It's definitely a temporary situation. I mean, it is working, but I've got another laser on the way. You know, I got it for like $9 online, so I'm gonna see if when that shows up, if it can play like the burn disc flawlessly, cool. I'm gonna stick with it, but if not, I'm gonna get that SD card reader because I really don't want to mess with, you know, this like tweaking the laser and like burn discs and stuff. You know, it's just too unreliable. So we'll see.
This is like
I'll pick the dragon. Yeah, I didn't leave last weekend's stream up because I was just like, you know what? There were way too many technical problems with this stream. You know, between the Saturn messing up, all the stuff with my cat. This is just like, no, I can't leave this up.
this one shoots a ball.
This is a mess. Yeah, the red ones shoot a fireball. Yeah, let me grab that a beef there. Oh, never mind.
Did I grab it?
Yeah, he took my beef.
I just walked over it though, right?
I think you have to press attack to pick the stuff up. I'm not sure.
I don't think so.
I could be wrong.
Nope.
It's like that with... Oh, you just walked over it?
Yeah, just walked over
Oh,
it.
yeah. Oh, well. So yeah, anyway, even though the Super Nintendo part went well, given that it was supposed to be a Saturn stream and the first, like, 4 hours of it were messed up, I decided not to leave that one up. So, that was another factor tonight's stream. We had to redeem ourselves.
Redemption.
Yeah, the redemption, Thursday night redemption, and provide many quality hours of, you know, streaming goodness. So yeah, it's like knock on, everything should be totally fine tonight, but obviously knock on wood. If I recall, the dragon has a really hard time getting over this jump.
Oh, oh.
Oh, dude, they're like, what? Spawned you right above the pit there. Yeah, careful. Yeah, when you see the pits like that, the best thing to do is like dash and then hit the attack button so you like do that dash move. It's like the best way to clear horizontal space when you gotta do a jump. Alright, you want to talk about weird translations? Look at the sign above the inn here.
Deb.
Yeah, for many years I wondered, who is Deb? Why is her name above this inn? But then I realized it's just bad spelled backwards for some reason. So,
Oh, weird.
yeah, I don't know what the hell is up with that. It's like a mistranslation is one thing, but the word straight up being like backwards is a whole nother can of worms. Oh, also Mouse, because I took the stream down, I went back, I tried to see, like, as I mentioned, like, adding you on Twitter, but because I made it private, the live chat disappeared, so I wasn't able to go back to that. So, if you want, either link it again here, or I'll give you an email address you can send the link to if you'd rather not put it in the chat. Up to you. So we were talking about the music and stuff last time. Which someday I may cross those ponds, but maybe not today. We're kicking ass, man. We're doing pretty good. Say, of course. See what I mean, man? Second to say something like that. Awesome. Thank you. Oh, make sure you pick yes. Would you press plus on yes? Start. There you go. Cool. Thank you, Mouse. I'll add you after this stream. I knew it was something with drawing in the name. Oh, I need some more of that beef. There we go. Yeah, it's the next best thing after the Castlevania wall meat. It's like stealing it from little gnomes.
Yeah.
Who, in all fairness, probably stole it from somebody else, so... Yeah, I think we have a pretty good chance of beating this.
Yeah.
Another thing with this game is it's really easy to abuse the enemy AI, like getting them to walk off platforms and stuff.
Yeah.
Especially in the last level, it's to like try and fight these guys. Not these guys, but the guys in the last stage is like ridiculous. So I'm eating a steak right now. It's basically raw in the center. How do you guys like your steaks? Well, I'm actually a vegetarian, but when I did eat steaks, and if I eat a steak again, I do like a medium raw. But how about you, man?
Same for me. I don't eat steaks much anymore, but when I did, medium rare, for sure.
Yeah, these skeletons with the combos. Oh.
I actually recently ate steak, and it was like really hard to chew for me because I haven't eaten it so long.
Where did you get it from?
I don't. It was just whoever had it.
It's just like at a store.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think they probably got it from hand, like, you know.
The last time I ate steak was at 555 in Portland. So this is a restaurant in Portland, Maine, and it's one of the fancier restaurants. It's like, okay, special night, like special date kind of restaurant. And of course, this was a special date, and I got this like insane Kobe steak, and it was insanely good. Oh shit, I didn't mean to do that, but probably not a bad idea, actually.
Are those supposed to be like leaves or something? Like, what is that?
I think they're the feathers of the bird.
Feathers. Oh,
Yeah, so I don't think I've played this far in the arcade version, but I would imagine the sky is also animated to suggest that we're like, you know, moving through the air.
Right.
Because you have
Gotcha.
just the feathers.
So
and
we're on a bird right now.
Yeah, we're on a big bird. We were just on a big turtle. And now we're on a big bird.
Okay.
Yeah, that's why it was called Turtle Village.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And somehow these guys managed to stow aboard the giant eagle. I should grab that steak, man. You get more than I do. Oh shit! She's taunting us now. There we go, I'll let you hit him. Oh, let me grab that last one. There we go. Yeah, we're doing good, man. Yeah, we're
I've died a few times, but I don't think have you died at all?
no.
Yeah,
Nope.
You're gonna carry the team then.
Yeah. No, I've played this a bunch. The only really hard part for me is the last bottle. The last Freudian slip. The last boss battle in this game is really gets insane. The final, they added an extra stage and boss in this game that weren't in the arcade version, and it is much harder than anything else in the game. There we go. This is my first death. Yeah, just watch the drops in this part. Yeah, just be careful. There you go.
That actually sounds terrifying.
Yeah.
It's like some Lavos shit.
Yeah, you're right. It does sound like that. Chrono Trigger probably has the best, one of the best game over screens of all time. You like see the Earth
Yeah.
in space, and then it like turns gray, and you hear that horrifying scream. But the
Yeah.
Earth, but time refused to change or something like that?
Yeah, it's a perfect. It just perfectly fits the objective, you know,
Yeah.
because the objective in that game is so clear compared to other games. It's a
Right.
very clear objective, so you can have something that, you know,
Yeah.
that really feels like in sync with the story, just versus it just saying, you know, game over
Right.
or you are dead.
Yeah.
Resident Evil, you are dead.
I'm pulling these guys.
That's the
from
fucking
magic.
thing. I haven't used any magic.
Yeah, we're kind of we're being pretty skimpy with the magic. There you go.
Fucking turd
Firing those little beans all over the place.
mode.
Have you played Chrono Trigger, Malice? If not, you really should. It's like top 3 JRPGs easily. Probably number 1. Oh man. Listen, I probably said this before, but you know, sometimes it's like, yeah, a game's good, maybe it's a little overhyped, but no, Chrono Trigger is
Yeah.
insanely good.
Yeah.
I think it's both of one of our favorite games of all time, right?
Yeah. I've yet to play an RPG, at least JRPG, turn-based, that I liked more than that game.
Yeah,
And there's a lot of good ones, you know,
absolutely.
but I just feel like that, just the time travel element to it.
Right, exactly. It's just like a perfect storm. You have like Squaresoft at the peak of their powers, bringing in the Dragon Quest guy, and the Dragon Ball Z guy, Toriyama.
Kiri Toriyama.
Yeah, it's like everyone's at the peak of their powers, and then even then, it's like then excelling beyond that. It's crazy.
Nuke.
Nukem.
Nuke mode. Well, how that just like doesn't really fit this like time period at all, but hey.
The little mushroom
works.
clouds.
Yeah. It works.
Yeah. Like you said, the time travel element, but the fact that the battles are not random you know, that you see enemies on the field, and then when you encounter
Very
them,
nice.
everyone just pulls out their weapons.
Yeah.
The battle menus pop up, the music starts. It just makes it so much more fast-paced and engaging than a lot of other games. You know, like I love Final Fantasy VI, but of course I'll take Chrono Trigger Battle System any day.
Yeah, it's that's a common complaint I feel like with a lot of JRPGs is it's great, but too many encounters.
I mean, even Chrono Cross ditched that. It's like
Yeah.
it's like, you know, there are a lot of things about Chrono Cross. It's like, okay, you know, whether or not you like this or not is subjective. I like Chrono Cross, but the fact that they ditched that element, you know, going back to the random battles is like,
Yeah.
I feel like there must be some kind of like technical reason why they did. You know, maybe load times off like the CD versus the cartridge. Because, I mean, that seems just like a straight downgrade.
They couldn't figure out how to implement it into that new, I guess their new graphics or something.
Right. Mouse, I cannot stop playing the Snake game, please. Are you talking about like old school Snake? Like try not to bite your own tail? That is a classic game. Sure. Hey, bros. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the stream, buddy.
Hey, short. Yeah, I feel like with the PS1 generation with JRPGs, it was all about like, let's show off the graphics here. So, like, let's go
Right.
into another screen so you can really see like the full detail
Right.
type of thing.
Yeah, I mean, even the SNES ports of the Final Fantasy SNES games you got, those had like pretty crazy loading screens. Like the Anthologies collection, you play 6 on there, you get to a random battle and it's like, yeah, a few seconds. Same thing with Chrono Trigger. You know, they're not the best versions to play by any stretch. Malice, you are playing a Snake game. Awesome. Yeah, that's a classic.
Isn't there like a fade out for 6 on the PS1?
No, it's
Or is it just literally a pause?
they just like extended the effect because like before
Oh,
it's like this
right.
kind of like screen distortion thing.
Right.
Yeah, careful. Oh shit, dude. Oh no! Alright, so try and throw these skeletons, yeah, into the pits. Like, watch this. Yeah, lead them. Oh, oh my god.
Watch me die.
Watch me die. Yeah, just like you did.
Yeah, I don't.
Yeah, so as you say, 6, yeah, it has the like screen distortion on the SNES, but then you're like in like under a second. And then on the PS1, it's like this big like whirlwind like alpha effect. And then like a black screen for a couple seconds. And then finally you're in the battle.
Exactly, that's what I remember is black screen.
Yeah.
And then triggers literally it just freezes, right?
Yeah, it just
That's
freezes
the
for a
worst.
sec.
Yeah, that was the worst. Once you've played the original and then you play that, or I mean, maybe you wouldn't notice it or care if you've never played it before, but like if you play the Super Nintendo version on Chrono Trigger and then you play the PS1, it's unplayable.
Exactly.
Especially if you have both. If you have the Super Nintendo version, it's just
Yeah, it's not only the load times, but I feel like the presentation is like kind of weird too. I mean, I might have to revisit this. I might be totally talking out of my ass, but I feel like I try going down here. He'll jump in the pit. Or not. There we go. I think we're on our last continue, so we gotta be careful. As I say, God, I can't remember what I was gonna say. Oh yeah, the presentation of those games on Super Nintendo, PS1, I feel like is a little, like the music is kind of compressed because it's playing like basically like MP3 playback of tracks recorded from the Super Nintendo, so they're like not as crispy, they're not as high quality.
yeah.
And I think it might be the same thing with the graphics as well. Man, any game with a throwing mechanic is great. Underused mechanic. Yeah, absolutely. This game, it's OP, especially like in these stages. It's like all these enemies start to have so much HP that you're much better off just throwing them or dipping them in the pits or whatever. Like these guys. I'm just gonna try and let them get into the pit. Oh. Oh, bummer. Oh, looks like that was the last continue. It's all up to you, Axe Battler.
I guess I used all of our continues.
It's alright. I think we killed Death Adder, we just didn't kill Death Adder Jr. That's alright. We were right at the We're close enough. Do you want to try this again, or do you want to try Gunstar Heroes?
What do you guys think?
Yeah, let's throw this out to you guys. Should we give this another shot, or should we
we
move
try to
on
beat
to the
this?
next game? Totally your call. Do you think the axe users call axe battler a poser? Oh, absolutely. Without a doubt. You can't believe the stuff they say in the locker room. Move on for sure. Okay, you got it, fellas. So, yeah, next up we're going to try Gunstar Heroes. So this is a game that I've always heard kicks a lot of ass. It's supposed to be one of the best games on the Genesis, yet for some reason, neither of us have played it. So we're going to give it a shot. See how it goes. So if we get mercilessly pwned in the first stage here, I gotta stop saying that. If we get our asses kicked right away here. We have literally never played this game before, other than a minute earlier, trying to make sure it works. So this looks a lot better than it did earlier.
Yeah.
I think it's just the window size.
Yeah.
Pwned. Yeah, it's
Too bad.
like the quintessential early 2000s Game of Thrones.
This was the first game we like tested too before we had fixed anything, so
Right.
we just remember the blur,
That's true. Yeah.
the blur.
I would sometime in the next year, I'm gonna just go all out, and I'm gonna get both RGB cables for everything. Because right now I just have them for, well, RGB and component. Right now I just have SNES, PS2, which also means PS1, Saturn, and the Wii here. But I'm gonna get SCART cables for the Genesis. I'm gonna go all out. I'm gonna get it for everything. So. No more emulation.
Shot.
Lemon fires 3 enemies. Chaser following fires very quick. So it's like short range. I'll try lightning. See how that goes. First stage. Empire enemy is attacking natives. Uh-oh. Save them! Kids still use Pwn. It's made a comeback. Oh, good. I play Roblox with a friend and I see people still use it. Awesome. Well, I'm not totally out of the loop then.
This is a different stage.
Yeah, we started on the second stage last time. When we were trying it out.
This kind of reminds me of blanking on the name right now.
Contra?
No.
Because it's made by the... I'm pretty sure this is made by the ex-Konami guys who made Contra Hardcore. How's the volume, by the way, guys? This in my headphones, this game seems a lot louder than Golden Axe. So let me know if I need to turn this down. I can do that. No problemo. Throwing each other? Doesn't feel much louder, there's just a lot of noise going on. Okay, sweet.
A lot of explosions.
Yeah, definitely a lot of explosions. Yeah, this has got to be the Contra guys. The amount of explosions there's been in just in the last like 60 seconds. Yeah, we can throw each other.
Are you hurting me when you do that?
I don't think so. Let me try it again. We try again just to make sure. So like the RGB chat, like this is coming out of the Wii, which it is hooked up via component, but the Wii does have kind of a soft output generally. So like a proper RGB hookup with a proper Genesis is will probably be a little better looking.
Probably sound a little bit better too.
Yeah, definitely. Like this doesn't sound bad, but the thing, you know, with Genesis, given its, you know, its sound chip, the fact that it's like a proper synthesizer, means, yeah, the real hardware is probably going to sound a little better than this. This is running pretty good, though. I mean...
Go!
Oh, yeah.
Okay. What is the purpose of that throwing thing?
I don't know. If you jump while you're in the air, you do this, like... He, like, does a Superman. I don't know what that's about. So tonight we're going to be playing, like, most of the games we're both pretty familiar with, but this is one of the ones that we've, neither of us have really ever played before, so... You might see us do really dumb things, or miss really obvious mechanics, so please bear with us if that's the case. I just threw him to the ground, so maybe it's like kind of the equivalent of like a melee attack. Yeah, I just threw one guy into each another one and I killed both of them.
Yeah. This is like never ending.
Yeah, this is maybe just like
going up.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go.
Yeah.
We would have just talked about not knowing the game.
Yeah, we'd be here all night.
Just like fighting forwards. Yeah, because it's like go. It did say go. Yeah, maybe we just have to keep. Yeah.
Oh shit.
Oh, sorry.
That's alright.
That's kind of an annoying thing. I feel like game developers, when they do friendly fire shit like that, they're like, yeah, these people hate each other.
Well, I don't think it does any damage to you. I think it's just kind of like I can throw a guy into another... I can throw you into an enemy and like it just does maybe more damage or something.
It's a fucking weird boss, man.
Yeah, this is definitely the Contra guys.
What the hell is this guy?
Konami guys.
What is this guy?
There's that boss in, it's like the second or third boss in Contra Bloodlines. You like fight him in the factory. And he's all just like revolving like sprites of like gears and stuff. It's basically the same thing as that.
You definitely killed me right there.
I'm sorry. Oh
Threw
god.
me out of the level.
Oh man. I'm sorry about that. Do it again.
It's kind of annoying. It's very easy to do.
Yeah.
It's kind of it's especially kind of a dumb mechanic to have in a game like this because you're always firing.
Let's just try to be more aware of each other.
Yeah.
Because this is supposed to be a classic. Yeah, let's give it a shot.
Wow, that sounded like a Super Nintendo sound.
Yeah.
Wow.
I said a second ago, it's not very often you see like a boss health meter displayed in like numeric digits. Not like a graphic bar, just like a number going down.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that.
Oh, it looks like that Superman like does damage. You can like dive into him. Yeah, look at that. I just kicked his ass that way. Alright, let's be careful we don't toss each other toward
You
Bing.
can just fall down too. Like that.
If I'm gonna throw you, I'll try and keep it either vertically or not at all. I think. Oh shit, dude! I'm so sorry. Oh my god, I'm sorry, man. I think what we should do is try and like limit our fire to like decisive kind of shots. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's not like Contra where you just
Right. Don't just like keep shooting mercilessly.
Wow. Yeah, I mean this game, I can see why people really like it.
Yeah.
Graphics are very good.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. So I mentioned before we started streaming, but I noticed that this game was developed by the same people who later went on to make Guardian Heroes and Radiant Silvergun, which are both like Saturn games we played recently. So definitely a legacy of quality with these guys, for sure. Wiggling asparagus. I just saw that. Sorry, boss. Yeah, that first boss, definitely. Oh. Warder. Pinky Rotor. Oh, we can get up here. Look at that animation. That's great. For a Genesis game?
It is. Yeah, the presentation is very good.
Yeah, see, I'm doing damage to him when I throw him in. Throw you into him.
Where does he take damage? Center part.
What's that?
I don't think he takes damage on his legs.
No, yeah, you gotta hit that torso. Looks like. Yeah, it's like underneath it, maybe? Yeah, I bet you can get under there. Wow, that stomp is it kills you instantly. He stomps on you. Be careful. As I throw you into him again. Oh shit, it's like
I'm done.
and two. Let's give this one more shot. Bravo, man.
Bravo. Johnny Bravo himself.
Yeah. Johnny Bravo. Here's a throwback. Johnny Bravo, he's like the kid-friendly version of like a less successful Duke Nukem.
That's true. Good point.
Cartoon Network in the late 90s was
Like,
on
look
fire.
at this fucking animation. It's fucking
He's Superman.
sweet. Like, looks like he's 3D.
Yeah. It's that blast processing for you.
Yeah, I guess so.
Say my favorite between Cartoon Network, that 90s, late 90s era, Courage the Cowardly Dog, definitely my favorite.
Alright, so we're just gonna limit our firing.
Yeah, you're right.
You gotta stay. Let's just stay on different
Yeah,
parts of the
you're
map,
right.
too.
Yeah. Good idea.
I'm just gonna stay up here.
Good idea, man. Good idea.
Don't get too close.
Maybe get a little closer so you don't just keep getting hit by those guys and making
Yeah.
them.
I'm trying to figure out how I can get to a good angle here.
Here, I'll shoot. Oh yeah, we can trade.
I'm gonna try some-
I'll shoot up like diagonally. Oh, we're done. Never mind. Okay. No, so I was just gonna say that this boss reminds me of Courage the Cowardly Dog, where they mix 3D and 2D sometimes. Oh, interesting. That's a funny coincidence.
Yeah.
Yeah, the look of that show was crazy. It's like,
Turn the slab.
yeah. Well, it's like how they were using like real world, they were still slightly like stylized, but they were using like real world textures for like the environment assets.
Yeah.
It was really, really cool look. The last time I checked, though, I don't think there was like an HD version of it out there. It was like 480i Blu-rays. Not Blu-rays, DVDs. So there's like all these like interlacing artifacts, like when there's like motion, you see like the combing artifacts and stuff. Obviously it's still better than nothing, but that's a show that
Have you tried this move?
I think we need to use that on this next boss when we're like dodging the feet. You know what I mean? Like get underneath him and just shoot him from below. Oh, so slab one was terrifying as a kid. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's where the show wasn't even like trying to be funny.
Yeah.
That episode, it was like legitimately terrifying.
No, there were episodes that did have some legitimately creepy moments. And there's always how like Eustace, he always had like the really like dark fates in each episode, like either like died or like transformed into like something horrible. Do you remember that one where like he got like a growth on his foot that became like a bunch of like 20s like Chicago mobsters or something? Yeah, see, we're gonna knock off the downtown bank, see?
Back when cartoons were actually good
Yeah,
for kids.
right. I don't know. I haven't watched a new cartoon in like 15 years, so I don't know if I can make that proclamation. But I will say, like a lot of other ways, we had it pretty good as kids with our media.
It's all you, man.
All right, pwned
Mine.
again.
Right when I say it's all you, man, dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stomped into oblivion. All right, so that was Gunstar Heroes. Definitely a sick game, but in lieu of the interest of the audience here, instead of watching us get our asses kicked over and over again, I think we shall move on to our next game. And our next game is going to be on another system entirely.
It's definitely a difficult game.
Definitely challenging.
I feel like it would be easier to play just single player though.
Yeah, this might be one we'll return to at some point after we have a little practice under our belts, you know. So we'll come back and we'll just show you how it's done.
Yeah, that's a game I'd definitely like to try to beat.
So we're going to return to the NES here for the next batch of games. And we are going to play... we're going to start with a game that I've played a few times on stream now. It'll be the first time doing a two-player. I know Malice likes this game, I think. A game designed to drive you crazy. It's in the name, after all. Marble Madness. A torture device courtesy of Tengen in 1984. So you haven't played this, you said, right?
Yeah, no.
Okay.
I've never even seen it actually, so
All
I
right.
don't know.
Well, I'll give you a rough overview. You're gonna be a marble, okay? And the object is to get to the goal. And there's obstacles, okay?
Uh-huh.
Gravity will kill you if it's too big of a drop, unless you're in a catapult, in which case you're safe. But if you just drop off something and it's like a big fall, you'll get cracked, and you'll lose some time. This game's all about the time. It's a big race. So you get enough time to beat each level, but your time from the last level carries over.
Gotcha.
So basically, unless you have some backup time from the first few, you're screwed. All right? And we can collide with each other. But
Gotcha.
also, you can go faster if you hold down one of the face buttons.
10-4.
All right. Anyway, enough talking. Marble Madness. NINTENMAD's first experience into this hellscape. Let's do it.
It is a black screen, black void.
Yeah. Amazing World of Gumball was good from what I remember. And the Looney Tunes show, where it's just them in suburban life, is cool. It's great. Cool. Yeah, I haven't checked out otherwise. I've heard Gumball is cool, but yeah. So NINTENMAD, control type here. This just basically means how hard you're gonna turn when you hit the control pad. It's kind of like a diagonal game, like isometric. I would stick to 90. Let's see. Oh, it's 1984. God, games are so much older than I remember.
Does it let you do?
I think the arcade version of this game might even be from 82 or something. It's old. Yeah, the arcade game had a trackball for its controls, so a lot probably easier than using an NES controller. But yeah. Excellent. All right, here we go, everybody. I'm the blue marble.
Oh shit! Yeah.
NINTENMAD is the red marble.
Is this an arcade game too?
Yeah, it was an arcade game originally.
I've seen the arcade.
Yeah, so you want to hold down A, or I guess 2 if we were using NES on the Wii controllers here, because every time that happens, you lose 5 seconds. Let me reset the game because I just kind of screwed you over pretty bad. Yeah, if I go far enough that screen has to reset, that means it teleports you, but you lose 5 seconds.
So do we want to work together? Are we competing?
Oh, yes and no, because it is a race, but...
I'm ready to compete.
Right.
Done with this cooperative shit.
Yeah. Yeah, we're going to compete for now. But yeah, 84, the game's so much older. I was having this conversation with my dad recently where we were talking about how each kind of decade up until the 2000s, it seems like it had its own kind of unique, all these cultural identifiers from fashion and music. And then after 2000, it seems like things are a little more samey. I can definitely think of tropes of 2000s fashion and culture and stuff, but it seems like the last 20 years have been a little less kind of unique in its own way.
Yeah.
And I say that as an adult, in these years, where I'm a little bit more aware of trends and whatnot than when I was a kid in the 90s and early 2000s. Yeah, sorry about that.
This is a game where you realize that the D-pad on the Wii remote isn't that great.
That's right. Well, to be honest, even if you were playing this on an NES remote, you'd be having a similar experience.
Really?
Yeah.
You think the D-pads are pretty similar? I feel like the D-pad on the NES is a little bit more squishy.
I agree. I think the NES D-pad is definitely better than the one on the Wii here, but the problem is, it's just these controls were not built for a D-pad, ultimately.
Yeah. Part of the frustration.
Yep. I mean, you combine that with the isometric combine that with the isometric perspective, and you're ready to.
It's not super exact.
No, it's not.
Like this, the controls are not exact.
No, the 45 is even worse because it's like, it's even more like granular, which you don't always want in a game like this.
Did Super Monkey Ball come out of this game?
Maybe.
It's a spiritual successor.
Maybe they were like, let's take Marble Madness, but let's make it fun.
Yeah.
Let's not make
that game actually has pretty tight controls.
Yeah.
So it seems a little bit more fair.
There's just something about this like game's presentation that I think that really mystifies me. It's like the gameplay, yeah, it's pretty fun, but it's just the fact that I feel like I'm in this like somebody's idea of like a late 70s like psychedelic like music video or something. It's hard to describe.
No, yeah, I mean it's classic.
I hear this and like I enjoy the in-game soundtrack as like sinister and menacing as it is, but it almost seems like it would be just appropriate to be listening to like Welcome to the Machine by Pink Floyd. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Math hell. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so NINTENMAD is out. Let's see how far I can get.
Have you beaten this game?
I have a couple times. I have actually managed to clear it. And this game, it's, you can beat it in less than like...
You've got the timing down, it looks like, with the turns.
6 minutes, I think.
You have like an understanding of the timing with the turn.
Yeah, a little bit. Get rusty, but...
Because since it's not exact controls, you have to really...
Yeah.
Like, have the feel of that,
Yeah, it's one of those games, too, where you really, like just there, like, that's the only time you should be using, like, the dash, like, these big straightaways.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's much better to go a little slower and take the precise turns. Same with, like, these hammers, like, too, if you're... I don't know, there's, like, this weird thing where if you are, like, running, so to speak, going faster, they don't knock you to the side. But if you're walking, they smash you off. I don't know, it doesn't make any sense. Anyway. Second to last level. So you see, it just gave me 20 seconds to beat that, but realistically, that probably wouldn't be enough. Alright. One thing you want to do here, though, in this little weird section, because this is the silly stage after all, you always want to crush these little Ronnies over here. Yeah, we're going to take their life so we can get a little bit more time. It is worth doing.
As a kid, did you ever have like one of those marble, I don't know what you would call it, mazes, where you build the little...
No.
I mean, you basically like build a real version of this.
No, I never had
like
one of
tubes
those.
and stuff.
See, like this part is awful. It's like the perspective is all messed up.
Alice knows what I'm talking about. Marble mazes.
Nice. No, I didn't play that one.
Marbles is like one of the I feel like the classic games,
Yeah.
that kids you would play.
Oh my god. Well, we'll get to see the last stage at least. I don't think we're going to be beating it, but...
I think it's not as popular anymore because kids like choke on marbles.
Well, they also have
Shut
like
them out.
iPads. They're not gonna
They also like iPads.
They're not going to be playing
good
marbles.
point.
They got iPads.
Yeah, good point.
All
They're
right.
playing Marble Madness on the iPad.
Yeah. Statewide epidemic. Kids driven insane playing Marble Madness on their iPads. So yeah, this is the final stage. That's bullshit. It sent me so far back.
Yeah, Malice, I know what you're talking about.
Let's see if I can get far enough to show you the... Yeah, look at this. The final frontier. Look at this. So even with the time it gave me, you think that's anywhere near enough time to clear that? No. No. I beat this game, like I said, a couple times after like playing it over and over and over and over it again for hours. So, yeah, that's Marble Madness. You know, people. What's that game? It's like that like urban legend arcade game that like supposedly like drives you crazy, like it's a CIA experiment. You know what I'm talking about?
No.
Begins with a P. What the hell is that called? Ah, man. I'm gonna look that up. Does anyone know what I'm talking about? Begins with a P. It's like an urban legend. Like there was this arcade. Yeah, Polybius. Thank you, Mouse.
Polybius.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Forget Polybius. This is the real Polybius. Anyway,
Seriously.
Marble Madness.
This would be fun with a trackball. Speaking of arcade.
Yeah. Maybe someday we'll get trackball controllers or something. Or
So, did the NES have a trackball controller?
I don't think the NES had one, but like I said, the arcade version did have it built into the cabinet.
Right.
So someday we'll figure out a way to play that with the arcade cabinet. Polybius, rumored to have its controls laced with LSD so you'd get high if you touched it. Yeah. Who knows? Who knows? Okay, so our next game, a significantly more popular game for good reason. The classic Contra. So we'll see if we can clear this one. We will not be using the Konami code.
Is the NES the best system because of all the classic games on it? It started all these classics. You have to ask yourself that.
My opinion, no. It's up there, but it's top 5. But I wouldn't call it my favorite system.
It's definitely not my favorite, but just thinking about it objectively.
In terms of like the innovation and
Just
stuff.
yeah, just the amount. I mean, it kind of started the whole industry back on its feet.
Right after the 2600 tanked home
Yeah.
consoles.
And then all like the games that came out of it, all the franchises.
Right. Yeah. I mean, in terms of like significance, like game design, it might be.
So what's your favorite system then?
Well, my favorite system, as you might suspect, is got to be the SNES.
Yeah.
Like, if I had to pick one console for the rest of my life to play, like not PC, if I had to pick one console the rest of my life, it'd be the SNES. Just because the insane amount of good games. You know what I mean? It's like the NES has the innovation factor, perhaps, but the SNES has the quality. You know, it's like yeah, a lot of these formulas that were first here but iterated on
Yeah.
so effectively that
Yeah.
you know, just some of the best games of all time. I mean, we were talking about Chrono Trigger earlier. Chrono Trigger, I mean, the golden era of the JRPG. Final Fantasy VI.
Game over.
Oh yeah.
I'm done for good.
Not only are you dead, you burned all my lives too.
Did we add lives?
Yeah, you took my lives. That's okay
Like
though.
in the start screen though, did we add?
No, there's no option to do that. None of that in this one.
Yeah, this is hardcore.
Should we do the Konami code? After all, we're just chilling, right?
Yeah.
All right, we'll do the Konami code.
Yeah, I would say my system, my favorite, if I could have one system, it would definitely be the PlayStation 2. If you consider the PS1 library with that.
There we go, Konami
So
code.
if you're just considering like you have one system play on a desert island, it's got to be the PS2 because you can play PS1 games on the PS2.
Yeah, that's
So
true.
it's got to be both those libraries.
Yeah, I don't know.
But
That's,
if you
that's,
take
that's
that
true,
factor
but is
out
that
of it-
fair? Because like, if the SNES could play the NES library, you know, it'd be like the juggernaut. But you're right. I mean, the fact that it can play
the
both.
Super Nintendo doesn't have backwards compatibility.
No, and even the PS2's library on its own,
It's pretty damn good.
pretty damn good. See, Mouse agrees with you there. PS2 bros.
It would go too far for me to say you know, PS1 is better because it has Chrono Trigger and all that. Because I'm taking into account the fact that it sucks on that system.
SNES or?
No, PS1.
You said Chrono Trigger.
Yeah, like.
Oh shit.
I just mean the, you know.
Oh yeah,
the shitty remake. The shitty, you know.
Yeah, you're right.
Shitty re-release.
Yeah.
Like it would be like, I feel like it would be unfair to like suggest just because the game is on there.
Yeah.
You know, that it's better than the Super Nintendo.
Yeah.
Including, you know, all the Final Fantasy games, practically every Final Fantasy game.
Yeah, I mean, in one way or another, you can play through Final Fantasy 1 through 9 on PS2.
It's just not the best.
I mean, if you're playing PS2, you can play Final Fantasy 1 through 12 in one way or the other if you're on a PS2.
But of course, the PS1 has significant amount of, you know, good RPGs in its own right. So.
Right. I mean, 7 competes for my top spot for top JRPG for sure.
So definitely PS2 if you're considering both libraries. If you're not, I'm gonna have to go with the Super Nintendo as well.
Yeah. Right.
Just
on,
because
brother.
the PS2 doesn't have that many good JRPGs on it. It really doesn't.
It's got Final Fantasy X, which is good. I don't like it as much as the SNES games, or even 7.
Yeah.
I think I do like it better than 8, but probably not 9. It has Nocturne, which is one of the best RPGs ever.
Rogue Galaxy is pretty okay.
Right.
I mean, it's just.
Oh shit! Look at that.
But it has some of the best variety.
That's true.
Out of any other system. It has every type of game that you'd want. So, I mean, I feel like if you're going with that you brought up the Desert Island example. So when you bring up Desert Island, I feel like you gotta say PS2.
Yeah,
because that's variety there.
Another thing with the PS2 is like the SNES, where the SNES is like, okay, let's take all these 2D concepts that were like, cool, but let's expand on them massively. PS2 is the same way, where it's like, okay, we're taking the burgeoning of the 3D era, which started, around PS1, and like let's really like polish them and take it to the next level. So it's like a similar evolution, but from 3D instead of 2D. So they're both killer systems. I mean, I think we're really fortunate to have all these like badass retro games in the end.
Yeah.
These all-time classics.
I just know personally, like with all the the systems I have, the games that I have, if I had to get rid of them, but I could keep one, it would definitely be the PS2.
Yeah.
It would have to be.
Well, like you said, it's like, even you're getting some of those SNES game ports on there, like even if they're not the best version, it's like, you still got them,
Yeah.
But yeah, SNES for me, PS2 for NINTENMAD, sounds like. Malice, does FF6 have different versions? Which one should I play? Okay, so yes, it does have lots of different versions. I think the best, hands down, is still the original Super Nintendo version. So you can emulate that on any platform under the sun, and it's going to run great. Excuse me.
It's not that bad on the, of course, on the, I want to say I don't remember if it's native or something, but on that Super Nintendo, the little classic.
Oh, the SNES Classic?
The SNES Classic. I think it's on there natively, right?
That's a fine way to play it for sure.
That's all right. That's a good way to play it if you want to feel like do HD. TV.
Yeah. So regardless of if it's on an OG Super Nintendo, the SNES Classic, or whatever kind of like form of emulation, play the SNES original.
Yeah, yeah. That's good.
Every other version has like some kind of major problem. Like the PS1 game has like the load times we were talking about, and like kind of compressed, audiovisual thing.
Did they have cutscenes?
The mobile version and like the mobile version, which is like the first version they ported to Steam, they redid the artwork and it looks like hell. It looks absolutely horrible.
Everything mobile is like the worst.
Right.
When they came out with that Dragon Quest 1, 2, and 3 on mobile. Awful.
Stay away from the JRPGs on mobile.
And then they ported it to the Switch.
Right.
Ugh.
I know Square is Square Enix, is they're like releasing the Final Fantasy Pixel remasters, they're calling them. So again, it's the first 6 games, but they're redoing the sprite art again.
Yeah.
Uh,
Are they doing it in like the?
it still looks, from what they've shown of 6, it looks better than the mobile versions and the old Steam version, but it still looks worse than the SNES version. So yeah, stick with the original.
Yeah, Dragon Warrior. They're doing like the Octopath Traveler treatment.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. That's like part of the appeal of sprite work to me is like how clean it looks. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
You can have a really dynamic presentation,
2D.
but it's like clean. Whereas like Octopath Traveler is like, okay, what if we took that, but we took like 20 shader effects, these like most exaggerated blur, depth of field, all these like really obnoxious vignette effects. I'm not into it.
I would like to try that game though.
I heard it's good. It's just some of the screenshots and like game videos I've seen is just like a little rough. Persona 4 is really good. Yeah, I haven't. Oh shit! It's like spawning me right on a suicide point. I played a little bit of Persona 4, but I got kind of sidetracked because I got into Shin Megami Tensei, and I like bought up all the PS2 games simultaneously. So like I got Persona 3, and like a week later I got Persona 4, and then I got Nocturne, and then I got Digital Devil Saga. I was like, all these games are great, but I ended up just playing Nocturne. So the rest of them, those PS2 games, are still sitting on my shelf waiting for like proper playthroughs.
Yeah, I've Persona 4.
Yeah,
I've heard Golden is the one.
Yeah,
really
yeah.
good.
Yeah, I've heard that game is really good. I will say, I think I'm probably more of a fan of like the traditional dungeon crawling versus like the social stuff. But from what I played of it, it did seem cool, and I am definitely willing to give it another shot. Mouse, save me from getting the Steam version. Yeah, steer at least like the version that's available right now. Like I don't know about the pixel remaster, like I said, like it looks kind of janky still from what I've seen. But for God's sake, do not play the original Steam release. Oh my god.
I think that goes for a lot of those older games.
The sprites, I can't believe they released that. It's like it looks like a.
I know.
It's just,
Did the same thing to Dragon Warrior too.
Oh man.
It's terrible. It just awful.
I don't know what they were thinking.
Not necessarily a game that had good graphics to begin with, but it just
At
made
least
it worse.
at least they had a charm to them.
Yeah.
You know. But 6 is like, it's like pixel art gourmet. It's like some of the best pixel art you'll ever see in any game. And to then play this version, which it looks like, somebody's like Flash animation game. No offense to the Flash animators out there. Shout out to Newgrounds, back in the day, but I mean, come on, we're talking about Final Fantasy 6 here. No, 6, I mean, I could talk all night about Final Fantasy 6. It's one of the best stories in the series, some of the best present graphics and stories, best music, fantastic gameplay. One of the best twists, I think I talked about this last time, one of the biggest twists of any game halfway through it. Please don't spoil it for yourself if you haven't already. Just insane. I played through it like 2 or 3 months ago. It holds up. It continues to blow my mind. I enjoyed that playthrough of it more than ever. Hell not. Good. I get very enthusiastic about this stuff, but it's just because I love the original so much. So, it's kind of another topic, but related to Contra. For those of you who are fans of Cinemassacre or James and Mike Mondays when that was happening, obviously they stopped doing that a little while ago. But on Mike Matei's, I think that's how you pronounce his last name. Sorry if not. On his channel, because he has his own channel nowadays, he left Cinemassacre a couple years ago. He did a playthrough of the original Contra with James Rolfe, the AVGN himself, on his channel last weekend. on his YouTube channel. I would definitely recommend checking that out because it has that classic James and Mike, you know, just vibe. Those guys they still got it. They still have that chemistry. They gel so well. And it's just kind of a nice, like, nice, warm, cozy feeling seeing them back together playing something. Alright, here we go again.
It's a shame where that went. AVGN.
Big time. I still enjoy the occasional episode,
Podcast.
but
Of course, they had to do the podcast.
yeah. I still enjoy the occasional episode,
late.
and I want James to be able to enjoy the fruit of his labor. You know what I mean? Enjoy his family, but
That's the thing. I think they're thinking about, like, how can we streamline this and make it, like, how can we make production for this easiest as possible, basically, is the...
that's the thing, man. I watched that production video he did. You know, he's talking about his, like, production process,
Yeah.
and he's got it. It just, like, doesn't make sense. Like, it's so it's like needlessly convoluted. You know, it's like his production process is like very complex, but it doesn't have to be that way. Like, he's doing all these, like, really inefficient things with his cameras and his lights and, like, transferring his video footage around. It's just,
Yep.
man. Anyway, not to disrespect James Rolfe, we all have great love for the AVGN. He's the OG YouTube gamer guy. We all love him.
Gotta respect the Godfather.
The Godfather. You come to me on the day of my newest AVGN episode. Alright, so let me see. I can suicide here, buddy, and I think we can get a continue if you want to get back in the game.
Yeah, give me 1 second.
Sure, yeah. Sick track. Another great piece of music from the soundtrack to Contra. I do wish, so let's elaborate a little bit more on the Final Fantasy stuff. Apparently Squaresoft didn't save the raw assets for all those PS1 games. So all those, like, pre-rendered backgrounds from the original, you know, PlayStation era games, they didn't save any of that because apparently it was taking up so much hard drive space, and hard drive space was at such a premium, they just figured, hey, you know, we're never going to use this stuff again. Let's just delete all these assets. So all that stuff is gone. So when you see, like, ports of the, you know, the original PS1 Final Fantasy games, and the, you know, the reason why the backgrounds are still so blurry is because that's all they've got. They have those 240p resolution. I guess not P. It doesn't, you know, pre-rendered image. It doesn't come into the equation, but a 240 resolution rendered background. They literally do not have those assets anymore. Which is a shame. Can you imagine seeing, like, a proper remaster of those PS1 games with, you know, like a modern render resolution of those backgrounds? It'd be incredible. But not gonna ever be a thing, unfortunately. The next best thing, though, is going to be AI upscaling, you know. And sometimes that can look really janky, but it's getting pretty good. If you're ever interested in playing 7, if you're relatively tech savvy, I mean, it doesn't take too much, but there's somebody named Satsuke who has done a big AI upscale texture pack on not only the backgrounds, but the textures for, like, the real-time battle textures.
Is that the one that you showed me?
I think I showed you an even
years ago?
No, I showed you an even older version of this other group that did it. But the thing is, with Satsuki's pack, not only did he use, like, the AI upscaling, like Giga whatever, I'm not too familiar with the names of the software, but he did the AI upscaling. But then he went back through, or she, I'm not sure, or they went back through manually and manually retouched up some of the weird artifacts that can occur when you do AI upscaling, because sometimes things can look a little, like, weird. They went back through all of it and manually retouched it up. So the definitive, like, if I were to play it, I'm gonna say definitive, but if I were to go back, you know, next time I play 7, it's definitely gonna be on PC with that texture pack because it is just, it's beautiful. It looks really, really good. you know, some of it is so convincing that it looks, I'd say like 90% of it looks as though somehow somebody got access to the original assets to render all that stuff, you know? So I think this is the end of the stage, NINTENMAD, so after I kill this boss, I'll suicide and be back in the game. I will say, after playing Contra 3 so much, and then Contra Hardcore, this is quite a bit easier. This is like half the speed, half the screen density. Energy Zone.
You like Contra 3 better though, right?
Yeah, overall, yeah. I mean, I still love this game.
I mean, it's hard to compare them.
Yeah, if I were to like rank them, I'd say Contra 3 is, for what it is, you know, it's a 10 out of 10, where this is like a 9. Still stellar game, you know, of course.
Malice is wondering if the Contra video made you a Contra god.
Yeah.
Having to make that video.
No, it made me a Contra 3 decent player. Like, now when I play Contra 3, I can beat it on hard mode, which is way harder than normal, as it should be, I guess. I can beat Contra 3 on hard, like, 2 out of 3 times, I would say now, like, without practice. But it definitely increased my skills, but I'll still get completely pwned if I play Contra Hardcore. That game still kicks my ass up and down.
Yeah.
But that, man, that is a great experience. A game like that, you think like Contra, there are plenty of hard NES games, hard SNES games. Plenty of hard games out there. But as I said in the video, the big thing is like, is it fair? You know what I mean? Is it hard because it's like effectively challenging, or is it hard because it's throwing like just random bullshit at you that, you know, or does it have poor, unresponsive controls? Does it have inconsistent mechanics? And there's a big difference. Contra, at least in its heyday, one of its marks of quality was that consistency of challenge, you know? So it remains one of my favorite series, you know, not only for that reason, but just the great, I mean, the presentation, everything. Contra 3 is still my favorite in the series right now, but I need to sink my teeth deeper into hardcore before, you know, I really can know for sure which is going to be the best. Because I feel like for most people, it's either one or the other. Alright, this part's tough, yeah. You basically have to not only time the laser, but jump right on the edge and not get blasted by these dudes.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
Jesus.
This is a real life burner section right here. There you go. How about you, Mouse? You play much Contra? Oh shit, let me move. Hold right when you spawn. There you go.
Yeah, I'm trying.
There you go. Yeah.
There we go.
Let's watch a pattern here.
Fuck.
Bottom, middle, top.
I have that instinct to want to crawl,
Right. Yeah.
but you can't do that in this game. Oh, fuck. God damn it. God damn it.
Yeah, take your time, man. There's no time limit. We're good.
True.
Yeah. Can you imagine this game with a time limit? How merciless that would probably be.
Yeah, I know. God damn it.
Played it once on Xbox Live Arcade. Was that the arcade version? Like, not just arcade, Xbox Live Arcade, but I think I played that too, and I think it was the arcade version of this one. I think. I can't remember.
God, this is so...
Yeah, crouch, jump, crouch.
Yeah, you can't hold crouch and jump.
Right, yeah, because
Right
you'll
back.
fall through. You'll hit the other laser. Yeah. Yeah, oh, bummer. Yeah, let go of crouch before you jump.
Yeah. It's a timing thing. You gotta get the muscle memory for it.
Okay, so keep in mind, we're gonna play a game later that NINTENMAD is almost certainly gonna kick my ass at. He's good. He's got the gamer skills. He just doesn't have much experience with some of the games we played tonight, right?
Yeah.
Right.
True. Yeah, Contra is not a game I've spent a lot of time with. But I definitely respect it.
So yeah, let go, jump, then. Yeah, there you go. So like, Mouse, I was like 11 when I played it. Yeah, yeah. Cause yeah, that sounds about right. Because it would have been like 2011-ish. At least that's when I played it. I don't know when you played it. But. Get down!
Down.
Dude,
How do you drop down?
we've been playing Contra now for like 20 minutes, and it's the first time I've done my Arnold impression. It's gotta be a record.
Fuck.
If I had a time machine, there are a lot of things I would do, but one of the things would be to go back and try and convince Dino De Laurentiis or some other producer in the 80s. Like, look, you need to make a Contra movie with Arnold and Stallone. And it would probably never happen for a variety of reasons. Because, like, those guys hated each other in the 80s. Plus, he'd be like, video game movie, no way. But
did they hate each other, or was that just like a competitive
no,
spirit
they
thing?
had a big rivalry in the 80s. Like,
Why?
well, they were in similar, similar movies, so a lot of the time they were, like, competing for, like, similar, like, scripts and stuff,
Right.
Like, based on interviews with both of them, it's like,
Fuck.
it's like they had a movie, like, say, like, they both had a movie, like, open in the same weekend. It's like, okay, whose movie's going to do better? Is it going to be Commando or First Blood Part 2? So they had a big thing going on. I saw an interview with Stallone one time. It was on Letterman, I think. And yeah, he was talking about it. He was like, yeah, we hated each other. We hated each other in the 80s. I say he went in, he was like hanging out at somebody's house, or he was somewhere, and there was like a poster of like Arnold on the wall.
Yeah.
And he got like all pissed off, and he's like, take that down. Unless you take that down, I'm leaving.
I mean, Arnold was probably more successful than Stallone.
Yeah, at the end of the day,
So
I think Schwarzenegger's movies both made more movies, made more money, and were generally more popular. I don't know if critically acclaimed is the right term to use. 'Cause I don't know if Ebert was a big fan of Predator, but
you got to give Rocky credit.
well, that's
'cause
the
he
thing.
wrote
It's
it
like
and all that.
for everything Schwarzenegger did, it's like he doesn't have Rocky.
Yeah.
And I'm talking about Rocky 1 here.
Yeah,
like
he wrote it and all that.
the true like dramatic gravitas of
Yeah.
Rocky 1. Here's some more trivia for you. Okay, I mentioned Ebert a second ago. Roger Ebert saw Rocky when this first came out. If you go back and read his review, and it's online, you can see it on his website. He talks about Stallone like this guy is going to be the next Marlon Brando. The way he captures,
I remember that.
the way he captures this kind of like blue collar authenticity,
Yeah.
this accent, like this guy is a great actor. Which,
Right.
hey, I'm going to say this like, 2020 retrospect. I mean, no offense to Stallone, but, I think his later films maybe showed that wasn't so much acting as just maybe just like Stallone himself.
Who he is.
Right.
Yeah.
But in the end, it doesn't matter because Rocky came together and it's a really, really great film.
Right.
As cheesy as the sequels got, Rocky 1 is like a legit, really good film, It's not something you watch for, it's like so bad it's good, that's like Rocky 4. Rocky 1 is our serious movie. And it's really good. And Schwarzenegger doesn't really have anything.
Yeah, Stallone has nowhere near the range that like a Marlon Brando has.
Oh yeah,
Not
no
even
way.
close.
Of course. In the end, though, if I'm going to weigh like all-time entertainment value, the amount of entertainment that I've gotten out of Arnold's movies versus Stallone's, I'm gonna have to hand it to Arnold ultimately.
Yeah.
How about you
Of course.
guys? Arnold or Stallone? Schwarzenegger or Stallone? All things considered, totally subjective thing. What do you guys think? Let us know. I'm sorry, I didn't even realize we just got a game over. Let me again.
No, it's fine.
Let me get to the end of this one, and I'll bring you back. Check this out. You get to the end. You're starting to get to these things, and it throws that wall up to the face. A little troll moment, like that. And this guy spawns in and immediately starts shooting at you. I guess it's a kind of a similar thing with First Blood. You know, the first Rambo movie. You know, like this is a movie. It's pretty serious. You know, it's like looking at a Vietnam veteran. You know, it's kind of getting into the PTSD thing. And then the sequels just get progressively a little bit more like, they're still entertaining, but it's a little more shallow. You know, it's just kind of like, like hoorah, like patriotic stuff. That being said, all things considered, I think my favorite Rambo movie easily is the fourth one. Not just because I think that's like the movie that's the most entertaining to watch, but that was one of the most that was one of the best theater experiences I've ever had in my life.
You saw that in theater?
Yeah. It was me and one buddy. We showed up, and it was just one other guy and his friend. We're all around the same age. And I'll admit, we're all drinking a little bit.
Yeah.
We might have snuck some alcohol in the theater. And it was... We were all going insane. You know, halfway through that movie, we're just losing our minds, having so much fun. And it wasn't just the alcohol. It was legitimately...
You've seen it after that?
Yeah, it's just a very over-the-top, entertaining movie. All right, so I'm going to jump in the pits here so NINTENMAD can join me. Let me just burn through my lives. Now, I've seen probably more Arnold movies than Stallone, so Arnold, but every time I think of Arnold, I remember True Lies and... Oh no, do you not like True Lies? It's okay if you don't, obviously. There's no judgment if you don't like True Lies. Alright, let's kick some ass here in the alien layer. There are some problems with True Lies, for sure. Got a few stereotypical things in there, maybe a little more than your average 80s, 90s action movie. But... so hard to describe True Lies. Yeah, to be honest with you, something that's kind of hard for me to not think about when I watch it is the actress that played his daughter. What's her name? Alicia Dushku, right? Something like that. Dushku.
Yeah.
I don't want to go into details. You know, it's unpleasant, but yeah, some things happened to her during the filming, which is, you know, very pretty unpleasant. I mean, obviously not cool at all.
Yeah.
So it's interesting playing this after, you know, the Contra 3 stuff, because they use a lot of these elements in that last stage.
Yeah.
Except everything is moving like twice as much, or I should say twice as fast, and there's like 4 times more of everything. Plus the last boss here is like the first stage out of like...
That's just on normal?
No, even on normal in that game. Yeah, exactly. Nice. Plus the final boss in this is just the first form of the last boss in that game, which has like 5 final forms, which get much harder than this.
Yeah, talk about innovation. They really beefed up the third game from this one. And we're really sticking to this, you know, original formula here. Just making it better.
That's something so many of like the SNES sequels I love, how they like reference the older games, but then they like go even further. They did in Contra 3, so it's like I mentioned a moment ago with that example with this.
Do you think it was the Super?
Oh,
every game was Super.
It's the Super
Metroid.
Yeah.
Well, then maybe that probably influenced. This has got to be the Super version.
That's another great example
of Metroid.
That's another great example because it's a similar thing. Yeah, you see Mother Brain, the boss fight from the NES game, not only in the opening, but you move through it in the end game in Super Metroid. Like you literally move through the same area.
Yeah.
You know, it's all blown to pieces and stuff, but it's clearly the same architecture. But yeah, I love that a lot. Same Castlevania 4 when it starts throwing you the music of the NES games.
Yeah.
Bloody Tears, like the second last stage. Beautiful. But there we go. Contra. Nailed it. You guys enjoy this credits music. I'm going to be right back. All right, back. So one of these times I'm glad I'm not on camera right now because my hair looks insane. So, like, I look like, yeah, I look crazy. Anyway, so yeah, so there's Contra. So we're gonna move on to our next game now. And let's see. I haven't lined up. You want to check out Life Force?
Sure.
Yeah, so Life Force, this is another game like Gunstar Heroes. Neither of us have played before. And again, it's supposed to be, you know, like an NES classic. So let's see how we do. Now, so what if Konami brought back Contra but gave it the Bomber Girl treatment? I'm not sure what you mean by Bomber Girl. I don't know what that is. Do you know what Bomber Girl is?
No.
I know there was like a new mobile game recently, like a new Contra mobile game that, surprise, I heard it sucked. Maybe it's good, but I doubt it. They just seem to love to, you know, not only not, you know, take advantage of all their cool licenses, but, you know, maybe like actively like destroy them, it seems like. It's the newest Japan-only Bomberman game. It's so funny, it's Bomberman for perverts. Oh, okay. Interesting. Like, I genuinely cannot believe it's real. Well, that sounds very interesting. It doesn't surprise me whatsoever.
What the fuck are you supposed to do here?
I don't know. I think you're just
avoid
screwed. Yeah. Well, wasn't there like a pachinko game a couple years ago? Or it was like, it was a Castlevania pachinko game, and it was like, you know, it's got like its opening crawl, and it's like sexual violence as like something to like be advertising. It was either that or Silent Hill. Either way, just like totally cringy. Konami, what are you doing? It's like, just leave them dead. You know, leave these franchises dead in lieu of this crap.
Yeah.
Okay, so we both just got a game over. About 30 seconds to the first
Try
stage.
one more time.
Here's what we're going to do. I think this game has a Konami code. So let me try that.
All right.
I'm going to reset it so we're starting from like a fresh slate here. Bomber Girl. Yeah, we'll check that out. Down, down, left. Oh, shit. Up, up, down, down, left, right, B, A, select, start. I think that worked. It says 29 down there. What were they thinking? Yeah, speaking of AVGN. Don't check it out. Oh, geez, that bad, huh? Okay. I'll take your word for it, Mouse. Oh, man.
These games are all about getting the upgrades.
Yeah, I won't check it out, but I'd really be curious to know who thought, hey, Bomberman, that's like a great family-friendly game that everybody loves. You know, even like non-gamers like Bomberman. Let's make it perverted. I mean, what was that? I guess they did there's like that, do you guys remember that there's like a Bomberman game on the 360 that was like rated M for mature?
What?
Yeah. I don't think it was like Pervo. I think it was just like trying to be like Gears of War. So it was like kind of like the basic Bomberman game, but it's like in the grim, you know, future of 2060 Bomberman. You know, he's like a war veteran or some bullshit. I don't know. You know, it's just like grim, desaturated, whatever. That has to be one of the most misguided. It's like, hey, all these games like Halo and Gears of War are selling really big. Let's make Bomberman like that.
Yeah.
Obviously, they realized their mistake because that was the only one like that. And they went back to the proper formula after. I do want to play some more Saturn Bomberman at some point once we get the Saturn stuff sorted out. Because that did seem really cool. Even the single player. Oops. Yeah, I'm glad we did the Konami code because this game is pretty hard, it seems. Like shooting through the arteries here. So yeah, you can blast through them. Malice. You play as girls, and when you get hit, the clothes get torn off. Oh, of course. They're like all lollies. Oh, good. Even better.
I just don't like these parts where you have to go in between these.
Yeah.
Small, narrow spaces.
Definitely a different scene in Japan. I don't want to get too much into this topic for a variety of reasons, but it seems like a lot of Japanese media things get away with that kind of content. I'm not sure why. But anyway. For the record, I don't think either of us are remotely cool with that. Still thinking about the MGS3 Pachinko game and how a real MGS remaster will never happen. Yeah, you're so right. My God. You talk about rubbing salt in the wound. It's like, hey, we're gonna use the Fox engine to like render these insanely good-looking, faithful, iconic moments from Metal Gear Solid 3.
It's a brain.
But to be used for little cutscenes in a Pachinko game to try and get drunk Japanese salarymen to blow their cash in bars in between the karaoke sessions or whatever. This is cool. It's like drop the HUD to like fight the boss.
The eye. You see the eyeball?
Yeah, gotta get him in the eye. I know, Malice, the Fox engine. They're crazy. It's like, you want to talk about Konami being incompetent. Hey, here's one of the most efficient, optimized game engines we've ever seen.
Yeah.
We're going to use it for MGS5, Fire Kojima. We're going to use it for a soccer game, and then this weird Metal Gear Zombie spin-off game that nobody wants. And yeah, we'll just shelve it. Who cares? You know, it's like, guys, I know you're trying to get away from like traditional video game development, but let's be sensible here. At least license the thing. This engine is insane. It looks so good, and it can run on a toaster. I mean, the fact that there were PS3 and 360 versions of MGS5, they were 30 FPS, but they still look pretty good. They still ran okay. But PS4 and Xbox One versions of those games, full 60 FPS, no compromises, and you play it on PC, and the kind of game that, even if you can't play most games at 4K, you can probably play either of the MGS5 games in 4K because they're so insanely well optimized.
Yeah.
It's just, yeah, they're nuts. I don't know what their problem is. It's like, whoever's in charge of Konami now is not only like disinterested
Not
in
a gamer.
traditional gaming, he like, it seems like he actively despises it or something. This is obvious, but it just occurred to me that we have switched the perspective here. That we're no longer side-scrolling, we're now top-down.
Yeah.
That's pretty neat. This definitely seems like a solid game. Like I said, we haven't played it before. This does seem pretty cool. Oh god, oh yeah, we can shoot through, we're not just screwed. Right. Miles, the 360 and PS3 versions were just lower resolution and lower FPS. It's shocking just how close they are to next-gen counterparts. Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's just, you know, it's an insanely well-optimized engine, you know, period. And it should have been used for more than it was. I mean, to say nothing about the fact that MGS5 should have been allowed to finish development, which it clearly wasn't, in a variety of ways. But, yeah. I was so sure that the way MGS5 was going to end was going to be... the end, basically, it would start to incorporate the events of the original Metal Gear, you know, the original MSX game. And the last boss... God, I'm sorry. I'm starting to make these kind of mistakes. The last boss battle would be the last fight from Metal Gear 1, except it would be kind of like an MGS3 moment where, you know, you wouldn't exactly be allowed to, well, I'll try and keep this vague in case anyone hasn't played that, but it would be a twist on your typical boss fight, so to speak. With you playing as Venom Snake. That seems like such a no-brainer. And who knows, maybe that's what was supposed to be. I mean, you get that little brief ending scene where Venom Snake is like in the bathroom looking in the mirror. And there's an MSX. There's literally an MSX sitting on the countertop.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, man, what could have been? Konami, it's been said so many times before, but you guys are real bastards.
Ah!
I like how that's a little too fast to just like dodge, so you have to incorporate a little bit of like the vertical movement. Mouth, the scene is pure Kino. Yeah, I agree, absolutely. That's another thing. It's funny because like the criticism of like most Metal Gear Solid games is, okay, maybe these games have too many cutscenes, especially 2 and 4. Maybe. Yeah.
That's
maybe,
an understatement.
just maybe. But you know, 5 is like the rare time you're like, I actually wish this game had more.
Right.
Especially it has so much more gameplay than the rest of them. So it's like it's even more unbalanced given the lack of cutscenes it does have. Can we get in that little space between the body? That doesn't matter because we're dead. Okay.
Yeah, let's move on.
Let's move on.
That was good.
Good game.
It's a decent game. I feel like I've played a lot better shoot 'em ups.
Yeah, it is an early NES game though too, so we got to keep that in mind.
Yeah.
It'd be like saying like Contra 1, like playing that for the first time, and be like,
Yeah.
oh, Contra 3 is obviously better.
That's true.
But anyway, yeah, a cool game and one that I will be checking out again. I'll definitely revisit, and again, maybe like Gunstar will be able to get a little bit further in next time. Malice. Kiefer Sutherland's voice acting was super good. Would have liked to hear more of him. I agree. I like David Hayter, but I was fine with them using a different voice actor for Big Boss, Venom Snake, as it is a different character. I know he's a clone and everything, but it doesn't mean he has to have the literal same voice. And I wonder with Kiefer, do you think it was a result of, do you think it was, he was probably expensive and they didn't want to pay for a ton of voice acting? Do you think it was part of the development getting cut short, or maybe a little column of A and column B? But I think he did a great job with what he had to work with. Absolutely. Absolutely. So, again, we're switching consoles here. And we're going to switch over to a game that NINTENMAD is probably going to smoke me in. No pressure, of course. But I'm pretty sure this is one of your favorite games, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, one of your favorite games in the system. Super Mario Kart.
I think we're pretty even, though.
The original.
I feel like the last time we played.
Yeah, I haven't played this in... Yeah, the last time I played this was with you. And we played it on the Switch Online, which had insanely bad lag, so we'll see how this goes. So let's see. NINTENMAD is Mario. I'm gonna go with Luigi. So we're gonna mix it up a little.
Alright.
Smells. I thought it was more of a way to show Venom as being a different person than Big Boss. Yeah, that's true. That's a good point. Like, it's not just that he's literally a different person. There's definitely a big difference in personality there. Spoilers, sorry. But you're right, absolutely. Far more of an empathetic, sympathetic character ultimately than where Big Boss was at that point. It's interesting seeing the discussion of that game and its storyline online, because there are people who feel like oh, this game was supposed to show the downfall of Big Boss, you know what I mean? And it doesn't necessarily do that in this like really on the nose overt way like maybe Kojima typically would, but if you look at the events of like what's actually occurring, it's like, yeah, Big Boss is a monster by this point. Think about what's actually happening in this game, in this story, what he's responsible for, how he's taking advantage of people. And it's pretty clear. I'll give Kojima a lot of criticism, for his a lot of his story ideas, and execution, but I can't give him any. I'll give him props there for sure, because I think that was handled to a degree, significantly more subtly than he usually does. And I get my eyes on the prize here because I'm in last place. Oh god.
Fuck. Peach edged me out.
Hey, at least you placed.
Yeah, I actually beat this game last year for the first time. That was fun. And unlocked Rainbow Road. Love that soundtrack.
Oh yeah, dude.
On that
classic
Rainbow Road track. Yeah,
it's so good.
It's a fun track too.
Every iteration of Rainbow Road is always magic.
Yeah, I think I like the N64 one the best.
Me too.
So fucking
too.
good.
We go off on a little tangent here. Very brief. I love the N64 Rainbow Road. Its music, its stage, beautiful. So nostalgic. But it's the way they incorporated it into Mario Kart 8 It's like they knew about all of those feelings and incorporated that into the aesthetic design of the track.
Yeah.
Like the way everything is literally rose tinted. Like there's a little bit of a
Yep.
sepia tone on everything.
Yep.
They knew exactly what they were doing,
I
and they
agree.
pulled it off beautifully.
Yep. Yeah, Mario Kart 8 is a very good game,
Yeah,
all things considered.
absolutely.
I'm probably better at that game than I am in this one. This one's a little. It's a
I
different feel.
am definitely better at Mario Kart 8 than I am this game.
The other thing is, now that I'm like playing it, I obviously much prefer to use a real Super Nintendo controller
Yeah, of
than
course.
a Wiimote, because it just
Right.
has that.
Yeah. Yeah. One thing to keep in mind with all the games tonight, we are playing on Wiimotes. Not even the classic controllers, because despite the fact that I have them, they have all bugged out in one way or another. So. Oh, damn.
So,
Right.
not the preferred way to play, but
Yeah.
no excuses here. Make it work.
We're also playing on a TV. We're not playing on a CRT like I normally would be. We're playing on an HD TV, which has some input lag, but then we're also playing in the OBS preview window, which is giving a little more lag as well. Not too much, but we'll give ourselves as much credit as we can here, I guess.
Yeah, we need it.
Oh my god, Peach is throwing out these mini mushrooms like nobody's business. Malice, yeah, brainwashes someone to bear your burdens. Yeah, I'm trying to like kind of eggshell around the specifics of the story of that game, but that's exactly it. You know, you're basically playing as like the fall guy. In
So I want to
GTA 5.
say in this particular version, you can get unlimited coins in a race.
Does it keep boosting your speed after 10? I don't remember.
Yeah, I think so.
Mm.
Like legitimately think the more coins you have, the better you're gonna do.
Yeah, faster you go.
But that's how I always kind of read it. I don't know.
Oh, nice, I get a little boost.
That's just kind of a weird.
First place.
Seem a little laggy to you?
I wish I'd been able to show you guys the other night. Hang on GP95. It would work now, but obviously tonight's not the night for it. But it's a motorcycle racing game on the Saturn, and I'm as much as the sound of the motorcycles in that game is annoying as hell. I really do enjoy the rest of it, especially the soundtrack. Classic arcade kind of racer.
I like how 8 reintroduced the coins
Yeah,
for speed.
right.
I liked how they did that. That was one thing I really always liked about the original compared to the other Mario Karts was the coins.
I gotta say,
Adds extra
8,
dimension.
if I'm being like objective, 8 is probably my favorite just because I feel like the gameplay is so good and
Yeah.
so
Right.
refined. But I'll always have a soft spot for 64 as my personal favorite.
Yeah.
I think that game has a really great sense of speed. I think it has really great controls, really great tracks, great soundtrack. Yeah. One of these days I'll do an N64 stream. The tricky part is just getting like good video output out of the N64.
Yeah.
So as of right now, I literally don't have a way to capture N64, like real N64 footage. You know, I either would need to get another adapter to be able to use it with my capture card, or I would need to mod the N64 to be able to do RGB out. Obviously, one of those is a lot cheaper than the other.
Yeah, Wave Race would be a really fun game to play.
Oh yeah,
Multiplayer.
of course. You know,
Such a beautiful game.
yeah,
The water effects,
yeah,
the physics,
definitely.
the lighting.
I could always emulate it too. I'll probably emulate some N64 games one of these streams before I end up investing in.
It's probably the way to do it.
Yeah, it's always interesting with the 3D games. I think I've rambled on about this before, but it's like with 2D stuff, when you're playing on real hardware, there's generally like never going to be a downside, you know? Whereas with 3D, like you talk about stuff like, okay, render resolution, and there's so many games that just, they look so much better. 3D games being rendered at a higher resolution, you know? And if you're able to do that and still keep everything else about the game authentic, then, you know, why not? Of course, you could say, you know, something like GoldenEye, like, is it being 240p and running at like 20 FPS part of the authentic experience? When you could play it on a PC at whatever resolution, running in 60 FPS. You can even play with a mouse and keyboard now. There are custom emulators for the N64. You can play Perfect Dark and GoldenEye with a mouse and keyboard, like a traditional FPS setup. You know.
Having the A button as the item button isn't really the best for this game.
No, it's not.
Because you can't do an item behind you. It's like very hard to do.
Yeah, it's tricky.
Because you have to do D-pad back and hit A at the same time.
I just used the feather shortcut there. That jump you can make early on if you got the feather.
Nice.
Put me into a comfortable first,
So
I
you're
think.
doing good, man.
Oh god, don't let me lose first right at the finish line. Oh! Close one.
Yeah, one would be better.
Yeah.
The one button.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, you have to... I don't really think you can do that.
I was reaching over with the same thumb. That's what I was
Did
just
you?
Yeah, I was just kind of like going like that.
Oh, like this?
Yeah, so like press
Oh,
it like
yeah,
that.
that's smart.
Yeah. You guys can't see what we're talking about, but I'm demonstrating the my thumb control here.
Yeah, because of lack of buttons, it's a tad awkward to play this game on a Wiimote with certain controls, like namely referring to is releasing an item behind you like this.
Right. Yeah, the only reason we're not playing on a real Super Nintendo right now is because of the video setup that we're working with. So the RGB cable I have for my Super Nintendo, instead of ending in a female RGB SCART cable, it ends directly in some BNC male connectors to go directly into the back of a PVM, which unfortunately means I can't plug it into my OSSC, like the video upscaler, because the OSSC only has input for direct SCART and component. Now I could use a BNC to RCA adapter, but I wouldn't have sync, so it just wouldn't work. But like I mentioned earlier, I'm pretty sure I'm going to just splurge and go all proper, consistent RGB SCART for all my systems, and then just get some kind of SCART splitter. So not only will every console have the best possible video output, but we won't have to deal with anything like this scenario ever again. Should be really good.
Amen.
Amen, brother.
Damn.
I just totally wasted my
Neck and neck here.
Yeah. Brother to brother. Mano y mano.
Some of these tracks that are like so narrow,
Yeah.
it's tough, and it just gets harder. Like
Right.
as the game goes, as the get to the other cups.
Yeah, I was talking
It's
about
more and more narrow.
emulation. If you use the emulator BSNES, there's actually a version of
Sorry,
that
Brad.
can render mode 7 at higher resolutions. So, like, render all of what we're seeing at, like, 1080p instead of 240. So this kind of game, or like stuff like F-Zero, would be insanely more clear, a
Yeah.
lot more crisp. So that might be something to check out at some point. Maybe I'll do a stream just for checking that stuff out. You also have patches. It's like widescreen patches, like Play Super Mario World and like proper widescreen Super Metroid. Awesome stuff.
Oh yeah. Crushing me, dude.
Are you?
You're crushing me.
Oh, I'm crushing you. Donkey Kong's still in the lead though. That bastard. All right. Here we go. The last track. The goal is to beat Donkey Kong. I don't care if NINTENMAD beats me. I just want to beat Donkey Kong. Or Donkey Kong Jr., I guess it is.
Yeah, he
Although,
always seems to get
is
upper
Donkey
hand.
Kong Jr. the same Donkey Kong that's like the main Donkey Kong in Donkey Kong Country? I'm saying the phrase Donkey Kong a lot here. I apologize. You know what I mean? Because like Cranky in Donkey Kong Country he refers to himself as the OG. He's like the one from the arcade game.
Right.
A little bit of Donkey Kong lore there for you.
Yes, sir.
So Donkey Kong Jr. might actually be the tie-wearing Donkey
Which would
Kong.
make Mario.
Well,
gotta think about
that should
that,
mean
too.
Mario is like an old
Jumpman.
man, maybe, but maybe
Exactly.
maybe gorillas age a lot faster than Italians.
Well, he's called Jumpman, so I don't know if that's his dad or something.
Who knows?
Probably not.
Either way, he's in front of me, and that's not acceptable.
Fictional characters and ancestry is really important to understand.
The lore of Donkey Kong.
The lore. Fuck yeah.
Oh my God.
I never get that. I never fucking get it. I think I've probably gotten it twice. That's the second time.
What place were you in when you got it just now?
Not yet. Like, I don't know, like fourth.
So it seems like usually they save it for people towards the back of the pack, right?
I don't think it's that. I think it's more random in this game.
I think it's definitely like that in the newer games, but maybe not this one.
Yeah, I mean, they definitely have, like, when you're in first, you just get a lot of bananas and shit, but... Fuck. Me.
Too bad.
God, and I got...
I'm
ran
sorry,
over.
dude. I flattened you. I'm sorry about that.
I don't even think it was you. I think it was fucking Peach.
It's funny seeing him in a shirt. Yeah, it is.
That happened to me twice the last two maps.
Bummer.
Lava'd and then fucking squished.
Mouse, please. Jumpman is my father. Call me a Mario. Mouse, you ever see the Super Mario movie? The live action one?
Nope.
That movie...
Worth it?
It's got, what's his name? Bob Hopkins? What's that guy's name?
Academy Award winner Bob Hopkins.
The guy from... He's in Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Yeah.
That movie is...
Didn't
That
even
now
fucking
we're talking
make it
about
on
so
the
bad
podium.
it's so bad it's good movies. That is so bad it's good movie. Dennis Hopper is Bowser. He's got like a weird hair gel going on to try and look like the spikes. Yoshi is a Velociraptor.
Uh-huh.
Very strange.
I gotta redeem myself. One
Luigi riding
more. Gotta
spinners.
do one more cup.
Oh yeah, Luigi riding spinners with the champagne there. Look at that. What a boss. Yeah, you got it. You got to qualify, buddy. Queue it up. Yeah, you choose the options.
We could always do a battle mode too.
I'm never crazy about the battle modes in this one. The ones in 64 I think are okay, but even then I definitely prefer the regular race. Should I stick with Luigi? I used to always play as the Koopa Troopa when I was a kid, but
He's a good balance.
I feel like I would always lose, but then again, I sucked at this game as a kid.
I mean, really, if you want to be like pro, Donkey Kong, I think is like technically the best.
I'm not pro. I definitely need balance.
If you can just like go through the level and not.
I'm gonna
'Cause
stick.
he has the highest speed but the lowest acceleration.
I'm gonna stick with Luigi.
Should we do Star? Let's do Star Cup.
Sure.
That was one of my favorite. This is actually my favorite track in the game.
Yeah. Track like the
Music
racetrack or the
and
music track?
Both.
Both?
Yeah,
Nice.
both. I really like this.
It is
track
good.
a lot. Yeah.
I think I was talking about this a little bit at the last stream, at the end of the last stream, but there are quite a few Japanese bands that are big influences on obviously a lot of video game music, but as far as like racing game goes, the Japanese band Cassiopeia, that's spelled Cassiope, like Casiopea. Not only are they a great band, but if you listen to a lot of their music, you'll see that a lot of like the Japanese racing game soundtracks everything from Mario Kart to Gran Turismo definitely took a big influence
Yeah.
from a lot of their music. Yeah, this is a cool track. Oh my god. I guess that's Payback. You just got me there.
Yep. Fortunately.
That's alright. You deserve that one, buddy.
Just this, nothing beats these games, dude. Just the polish.
Yeah,
Nintendo games just have that extra level of polish.
yeah, even today, as messed up as the game industry is, as much as, like, games are sold piecemeal and DLC and needing a patch, like, immediately as soon as you install it or play it off the disc, Nintendo seems to be keeping the flame going strong with that stuff.
Yeah.
They do some stuff that's kind of sketchy, like the amiibos, which are basically physical DLC.
Yeah.
They get around the goodwill. They're like, oh, we won't sell you DLC for $10, but we'll sell you a plastic action figure for 20 that
Yeah.
achieves the same thing. Nice work, dude. I did really bad in that round. Malice, I listened to a little bit of that band. It's literally Mario music. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, it's crazy. They're really good, but
Yep.
definitely a big influence for sure. One spoon she told me about the other day was, well, a couple things. Yellow Magic Orchestra, pretty similar. More like synthesizer based, but really similar band where they were like really huge, awesome band, and also like tons of influence on lots of game composers. Not Yellow Light Orchestra, Yellow Magic Orchestra.
This is definitely one of the tracks that visually hasn't held up great.
No, this is one of the you're right.
It's the shit level.
It's the shit level. I thought when I was a kid I thought of it as the Cocoa Puff level, but I guess you're right.
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I was, cereal back in the day.
But yeah, Yellow Magic Orchestra, they're fantastic. Check out their first couple albums. It's basically pretty similar to Kraftwerk, but it's like a lot more kind of like lighthearted and upbeat. Similar kind of like instrumentation, like super synthesizer heavy and whatnot, but really, really awesome. Plus, like some of the most slick, clean production stuff you'll ever hear. Like you listen to that stuff and it's like, it doesn't sound like things are made in like 78 or whatever. Like it sounds like it was made today. And everyone in that band all had great solo careers after that too. Doing their own albums and soundtrack work and all sorts of stuff. Oh man.
I've always hated this level.
Yeah. Bummer. I think we're gonna have to give this one another shot. Stop talking about 70s Japanese bands.
Ranked out.
Right? Oh no. Gotta grab some more coins. I think that's what my problem is. These last few tracks. Do you think it's just that the tracks are more difficult, or that the AI actually gets a little tougher on these, as you go further in cups? Also, I think it's going to be all up to you to qualify here. I think I'm so far back now that...
I don't know. we're just definitely doing a lot worse.
Yeah, we're definitely doing worse.
It's not. Yeah, we're just. I mean, I just keep. I can't get through the track just without crashing or some shit.
Right.
Or getting into the dirt, slowing down a bunch. I don't want to blame the controller, but I definitely feel like I'd be doing a lot better with a Super Nintendo controller right now.
Yeah, probably.
Because I prefer to use the right bumper
Right.
on the Super Nintendo controller than using the left one, just kind of like left back.
If you want, I can go grab one of the GameCube controllers.
No, that's fine.
All right.
I actually like this D-pad more, so let's just go with this.
Yeah, it's a double-edged sword, GameCube.
Yeah.
All right, here we go. I can't wait for Bloodborne cart. Yeah, when's that coming out anyway? Miyazaki keeps delaying that.
What's that?
Bloodborne cart. The
What
sequel
is
to the sequel. That's what we're getting instead of Bloodborne. We're getting Bloodborne cart.
I don't get it.
It's a joke. It's not real. No, it's basically like, for some reason it became a meme that like there was gonna be a sequel to Bloodborne, and it was gonna be like a cart game like this.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, cart.
Yeah,
Oh.
cart. Sorry. Yeah. Yeah, like you'd be racing around in like buggies, you know, like
Yeah.
horse-drawn buggies or like weird like Victorian era,
Oh,
you know, carts or whatever.
Man, just release it on the PC.
Coming soon to the PS7. Bloodborne cart. Tell you one thing, Bloodborne needs to get on the PC already.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
a crime that game hasn't. I understand, yes. It's co-developed by Sony. They funded it as a system exclusive. Yes, I understand. But there are other games like Horizon Zero Dawn, which had the same exact scenario, and I think even bigger budgets, and have since been released on PC.
They're making a mistake not figuring out how to integrate their... It's going to be software in the future. Hardware is going to be irrelevant, in my opinion.
Yeah.
So they're making a mistake not trying to get their software on some way onto a PC.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want to put it on Steam, but
My prediction would be the PS5 will be their last system with exclusives. There will probably be a PS6,
yeah.
but I feel like they probably won't call it that because I mean, even PS5 is a little ridiculous. But PS6, it's like maybe at that point they'll cave and start finally releasing software on other systems.
Yeah.
Should we try again? I think I lost all my lives. I don't know if I'm even allowed to.
Yeah, I'm curious.
Yeah.
Oh, so
Wow.
only I can play.
Yeah. All right. You give it a shot. I can take a break. I'm gonna lean back. I'll still be here,
Watch
but
me
I'm
do horrible.
gonna lean back. I'm gonna
Watch me
encourage
fail.
NINTENMAD to do his best. Mouse, I actually have my own ball-jointed doll. It's really cool. Maybe I could dress her up like the doll from Bloodborne. You should. Do it. This sounds cool. This is probably a stretch. Okay? This is probably a total stretch, but I watched the film Unforgiven again recently. And there's a scene where the prostitute who had her film cut up, you know, the whole like impetus for the entire film's plot, basically. She's talking to Clint Eastwood's character outside, like after he gets over his fever. And she is wearing an outfit that is almost exactly identical to the doll in Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
And given the other visual references in that game that I could list pretty handily, I do wonder if that was the inspiration for her outfit. She's got the bonnet, she's got the shawl over like the buttoned blouse over the dress. It's an extremely similar outfit. So if it were a coincidence, it would be a very big one, I think. I tried to find some pictures online, like some screen grabs. It's a brief scene, and I couldn't find any examples online. But if you ever watch that film, you'll probably see what I'm talking about. And I would recommend watching it because it is a great movie. Go, man, go! You're so close. Oh shit! No.
I qualified.
It's fourth qualified?
Yeah.
Oh, I guess so. Good job.
I was in third for a little bit.
This remake, this Mario theme you
hate
get
this
here,
track.
it's like, yeah, pretty good. It's like the Larry David version of the Mario theme.
You played Village, right? Did you beat that? Resident Evil
Village? Yeah, I played it. I beat it. I wasn't
You
crazy
never told
about
me
it.
what you thought about the end.
Okay, my thoughts on Resident Evil Village. I think that game is kind of a mess. I think it's worth playing through for $20 or less. I know it reviewed really well, but honestly, the game feels like it was either... I mean, people were probably, developing it at home in part, at least partially via the pandemic, but it does kind of feel like a game that was developed by like 5 different teams and then stuck together afterwards. The ending of that game is a mess. You go from a section that feels like it was ripped out of a Call of Duty game, which I enjoyed because it was pretty cathartic considering everything leading up to it, to a boss fight that feels like it was ripped out of a Silent Hill game.
Yeah.
The ending, man, I definitely would put it on the lower half of Resident Evil games.
Yeah.
I wasn't very crazy about it.
The gameplay does not look fun, and that's the main thing. Is the gameplay isn't there. It doesn't look like it's there.
Let me
Doesn't
say.
look like it's fun to play.
Let me say a few things about the gameplay. The core gameplay, it's decent, especially considering they patched it. When it first released on PC, which is what I played it on, there were a lot of bugs, I guess, and slowdown related to the DRM of the game.
Right.
Which pissed a lot of people off, justifiably so, because people playing the pirated versions weren't dealing with the slowdown, these performance issues.
Right.
For example, here's a killer bug. The PC version of that game, initially when it launched, whenever you shot an enemy and it registered as a hit, there was a frame lag of 2 frames. So that basically meant every time you shot something in a first-person game, you had a few frames of lag. It's that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
They did patch that. I'll give them credit. So the first and second half of my playthrough were a little different because that was patched halfway through. Even then, the core gameplay that is there, it only constitutes about 50% of the game.
Yeah.
There's so many sections that they're just it's set piece city. You know what I mean? And you're not doing that core gameplay. And it is what it is, but I wasn't crazy about it.
Yeah. 4 is my favorite.
Yeah.
My personal favorite, as you know.
Yep. Yeah, NINTENMAD's crazy about 4. I love it too. That's his favorite. Mine would be 2 or even the remake of 2 and then 4.
2 is good, man. 2 is a second for me.
Malice, what movie is it called? Sorry, I just saw that. The movie is Unforgiven, and it's a Clint Eastwood movie from '91. He directed it, starred in it. It's a really good movie. I definitely recommend it. A really great film. It's almost kind of like an answer to his 60s spaghetti westerns he was in. I was talking about last time, and I have several times now. I love the whole Man with No Name trilogy. Good, the Bad, and the Ugly is one of my favorite films. But Unforgiven is almost kind of like a response to those movies in a very sober, realistic way. It's kind of like a deconstruction of the Western. I say that, I don't want it to sound pretentious because the film is the farthest thing from, excuse me. It's a totally accessible, great movie. It's just a lot more down to earth and realistic than those films. But yes, Unforgiven, it won I think it won an Academy Award in almost every category that year. It is a great film. Unforgiven.
Set pieces in 7 never got me because I always knew I was going to be okay. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
It's like you trade player agency for spectacle. But the problem is, with agency lies consequence. With agency lies, oh, I actually could die here. I'm in control. It's up to me. And the feelings you get playing the game, the dramatic impact is a lot more significant as a result. Set pieces, like you said, it's like, okay, here's where I put the controller down. I watch Ethan get his like hand chopped off or whatever, but I know it's going to be all good because he's going to glue it back on in a few minutes. Anyway, on to our next game, and this may be the final one this evening. We'll see. See where you guys are at and where we're at. But Turtles in Time, baby.
It's kind of like innovating in the wrong direction, you know?
Right.
Just like, oh, we're not going to innovate the gameplay. There's so much more that you can do with gameplay.
I know.
When you even remove the graphics from the equation, you know, in terms of innovating graphics,
right,
or innovating technical aspects of video game, like there's so much more that can be done with gameplay, which is really the core element.
Right.
It's the same thing with movies too. It's like we're not going to innovate the artistic elements of presentation in a movie. We're gonna innovate. Oh, huge fake worlds.
Right.
You know.
Right.
It's the same issue.
It's a bummer. It's one of those like modern gaming trends that really turns me off. You know. It's a shame. So yeah, on a brighter note, we're going to be playing Turtles in Time, which is a game that has none of these friggin' issues. Another classic.
None.
And we're going to play it on normal. Because I think if you play on easy, you don't actually get an ending.
One cutscene at the beginning of the game, right?
Right. One cutscene at the beginning, one cutscene at the end.
Yeah. That's all you need.
We're going to crank our arrests up, though. All right, let me ask you this. Do you want to keep the color mode on animation or comic?
Well, I didn't know there was a difference.
Yeah, most people don't bother with this, but I hadn't until recently. But animation is... The Turtles have their, like, cartoon color schemes where it's more, like, bright and colorful.
Right.
And then comic is, like, they look more, like, brown and a little grimier.
I gotta go with animation.
Yeah, that's the way to go.
That's the classic one, right? That's the default.
Yeah. Although I think it's still kind of a misnomer because in the comics originally, it was black and white. But
right.
On the cover art, they all had red bandanas.
Right.
And it's even like that on the NES Turtles game. If you look at the cover art, they all have the red bandanas.
Yeah.
Oh shit, I think I picked one player. My bad. Let me reset this. But yeah, so it's kind of a misnomer because even though they're like they're darker turtles, they still have the unique colors in their bandanas.
Ethan as a character, he's from Resident Evil.
Yeah, that's
Village.
the character you play as in 7 and 8.
Yeah.
So he was endearing as a level 1 intelligence kind of character to me. Yeah. I get that. I feel ya. It's just everything around Ethan. I have no problem with him as a character. It's just everything around him.
It's like
he fits.
Leon had that type of vibe to him, but he wasn't trying to be a serious
Well,
guy.
he was in the second game. Like in Resident Evil 2, it's similar where he's like,
right.
You know, he's like a Boy Scout, like totally aloof, like,
yeah.
What's going on in this town?
It works for more of that kind of.
Yeah, but by 4 he was like Mr. like experience. You know, like.
Yeah.
Where'd everybody go? Bingo.
Yeah.
Ethan, yeah, he's definitely in the vein of.
Ethan's like ultra serious. All the characters are ultra serious.
Yeah.
In the newer ones.
It really cracked me up with Village.
Sense of humor.
How everyone like lost their minds about Lady D, the big vampire lady. When you play the game, she's in it for like maybe 20 minutes. Like she is not one of the main characters at all. I mean, she's one of your primary antagonists, but without spoiling too much, she's in the game for not a significant amount of time. It does not ultimately have any kind of bearing on the plot. Your small time. Yeah, that's fantastic scene.
Village to me just looked like it just tried to do too many things in one game.
Your right hand comes off? Yeah, that's exactly how I feel. It kind of feels like a theme park ride, which isn't necessarily a bad thing, but like I said, it's like there's so much. There's very little consistency with the gameplay throughout it. You know, you do get these moments of downtime where you get to explore the village between the big 4 like antagonist areas.
Yeah.
But it's pretty brief. And then 2 out of these 4 antagonist areas, you don't really utilize the conventional gameplay.
Exactly.
Like the doll lady, they take your weapons away, and it's like kind of they basically are like, okay, you wanted PT, here's PT, and that's like the doll area.
Well, when I saw the game, what excited me about it, I was like, oh, it's going to be kind of like, you know, Resident Evil 4 type of environment, but like almost open, you know, open world, non-linear.
Right.
Like that was I was like, oh no, that would be too much fun to do a game like that. Just like do Resident Evil 1, but outside, you know, where you're exploring these different elements of the town in like a non-linear way. Maybe it's not super open world, but it's, you know, it's non-linear.
Right. There's a little bit of non-linearity to it, a little bit in those, like I could mention, those bits where you get to explore the village in between the antagonist areas, but it's not. Yeah, it's not the bulk of the gameplay.
When the gameplay is nowhere near one of your earlier titles, gotta go back to the drawing board.
That's the thing. I mean, I feel like if I were to look at it as objectively as possible, it's like this game at its core isn't as fun for me to play as Resident Evil 1 from 1996.
Yeah, just in terms of gameplay.
Right.
Like, yeah, presentation, it's a step above the other games.
I'm not saying it's like
maybe not even you could say that. Maybe 7 you could say is better presentation.
Yeah, I think I like 7 more than 8. It's like, don't get me wrong. It's not that I'm saying like, oh, it has to be like the originals. Like the series can't change and evolve. Like no, not at all. Of course, like something different is cool. Experimenting is good. Doing new things is good. I mean, I think the least good Resident Evil game, 0 in my opinion, is, you know, it's a very example of a formula that was very tired at that point. Experimentation is great.
Right.
It's just, it doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be successful. I respect that they tried, but yeah, I wasn't crazy about it.
And it's not really looking good from here because it's a freaking trilogy, of course.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. I mean, based on the ending of 8 Village, there are a lot of ways. They have. I don't even know why they would call it a trilogy because it is almost completely a clean slate in terms of where it's going to be. My God, that ending. Ridiculous. There we go. Baxter, you punk. Oh yeah, Malice. I didn't even see that. Ethan get his leg cut off and put back on. Yeah, it's funny. I mean, on several levels. It's like, not only do you kind of undermine the body horror aspect, like if you're trying to like go like for the Saw thing, you're like, oh my God, my arm just got cut off in first person. But the fact that like 10 seconds later, ultimately you do get an explanation in 8 as to why he's able to do that. But yeah, the fact that he just like glues it back on, you know, like a water bottle, like he pours some Mountain Dew on it and he's all good. It's just like completely undermines that. And again, you know me, I talked about this plenty of times. Like, I'm not looking to Resident Evil necessarily, at least in the cutscenes, for like serious horror. I think that it manages to pull it off pretty often in the series. in the real-time gameplay, you know, this music and exploration, but it's been kind of a consistent thing that like as soon as a cutscene starts, it's like all pretense of serious horror goes out the window. And I like that. I like the combination of both. I love this track from this game. So good. I had to learn this on
This
guitar.
is actually one game on the Super Nintendo I don't own, like physical copy of, but I do want. Probably
This,
sooner rather than later.
when I was a kid, I had this, and basically 99% of the time, like have like a people over, you know, like if we're gonna play Super Nintendo, we'd play a few games, and this was almost always on deck. This is just all-time classics to me. I still enjoy it a lot. Not only is it a great game, but it's an example of a really fantastic arcade port. You know, the OG arcade game is not too far removed from this game. Konami did an insane job porting it. Few more voice samples, few more frames of animation here and there, but otherwise pretty similar. So I really did not like the final boss of 7. It kind of encapsulates all my least favorite aspects of that game. I agree. I remember saving as much ammo as I could during the final enemy rush because I knew a boss was coming and it turned out to just be scripted! I feel your pain. I hate that stuff. What about the chainsaw part in the attic? What do you think about that?
Yeah, God forbid you actually want to play the game at the end.
Well,
If you actually want to play it. That's why 4 is a great game. You're always playing it. Just about always playing the game.
I made a really quick note of it in that DMC video, but that game was supposed to have QuickTime events too.
Yeah.
They didn't end up implementing it, but I imagine it probably would have been a lot like 4. There's that piece of concept art where it's basically like Dante dodging one of like the frost enemies, like those. They're basically like the lizard guys, but like on ice, like the hunters. But they didn't end up incorporating that.
I actually don't mind the QuickTime events for RE4.
No, I don't
I
either.
like it in a lot of games, but
I don't either.
I feel like Devil May Cry would be a mistake probably.
Put him in.
Because
Yeah.
there's so many cool things you're already doing in the game. You don't need that.
Right.
You don't need to see how cool you're doing in slow motion or whatever. You know?
Yeah. DMC is one of the few series, I mean, even, you know, the first and onwards, that your character is able to do things in game that are as cool
Exactly.
as they're doing in cutscenes. Maybe even more so. You know?
Yeah, exactly.
You know, RE4, you have these cutscenes where sometimes Leon does some like kind of extreme stuff, but they did a pretty good job of balancing it.
Yeah.
Like the knife fight with Krauser.
Yeah.
You know, nothing too crazy. The most recent example of that drove me nuts was the Final Fantasy VII remake. Oh my god. So,
Oh yeah.
and dude, oh man. There are some things I like a lot about the remake, but you have other things like the cutscenes where you have Cloud doing these incredible anime events, you know, these kind of things where he's like defying gravity, basically flying, you know, like he dodges like a wrecking ball that's going into a building, jumps out of the way and he's in the air, and he like jumps off of the rubble as it's still flying through the air, you know what I mean? This is ridiculous. Like, okay, whatever, he's, you know, supposed to be really badass, genetically engineered soldier guy. Sure. But then in game, you get these scenarios where it's like, oh no, Aryas, there's a 4-foot tall rusted fence in our way here.
Yeah.
We're gonna have to find another way around.
Yeah.
Or, oh man, there's like a rotting wooden door in our way. I know I've literally been slashing like giant robots and concrete slabs in half with my 7-foot-long Buster Sword, but we're gonna have to find a key for this door. And that shit just makes me want to take the game out of the system and just toss it in the garbage. I hate that. It really bugs me, if you can't tell. It really grinds my gears.
Yeah, it's better to just not have that.
Yeah.
That cutscene.
Man.
Your problem.
Absolutely. Didn't the director for DMC make it a point for Dante to only do things he could do in game? Yeah, you're right, he did. Itsuno said that in one of those interviews. I would definitely recommend, if you guys haven't, check out the DMC 3142 arts book. I linked, I don't know if it's legal, but hey, here you go. There's a zip file in the description for the DMC video to download it. And there's lots of cool stuff, not just about DMC 1, but the other games as well, discussing it. But they knew what they were doing. You know, they sorted that stuff out really, really well. And you're right, confirm that. Yeah, I'm glad you mentioned that, Malice. Thank you. That FF7 remake.
First the sewers, then the world.
Square Enix, like, we're showing you, yeah, we're gonna milk this. Before we even have the second game come out, we're gonna be releasing the upgraded version of the first game. I'm sure we'll do for the second game.
Toe, my toe.
I think from here on out, as far as the FF7 remake goes, I am going to wait until it is all done before I check it out again.
What are you thinking about the new one coming out? The new Final Fantasy.
16?
Yeah.
From what I think it's going to be great. From what I've seen, it looks cool, but the fact that they have Yoshi P from the director and producer of Final Fantasy 14, as he's also that guy must be so busy. He's in charge of this huge MMO, which is still constantly getting new content. Right now, they're working on another expansion, but he's also producing Final Fantasy 16. Speaking of, you want to talk about, okay, DMC. I don't know if you guys know this, but the guy who is in charge of the combat in DMC 5 is in charge of the combat in Final Fantasy 16. So all things considered, I think it's going to be a slam dunk. I think it's probably going to be the best Final Fantasy game in 20 years, easily. Mark my words. You heard it here first. I honestly though, I do think it's going to be really good. It's like if they've been dipping their toes in the waters of like real time. They've been dipping their toes in the the waters of real time combat for several games now. I think the combat in the 7 remake is really good. I think that's a really great evolution of turn-based combat, like a modern form. I'll give it that. But I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with 16 and that kind of merger of those two design philosophies.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Another insanely good piece of music here. I would encourage everyone to try 14 at least as well. I know some people are hesitant to try MMOs at all, but 14 you can now play through the entire base game and the first expansion for free with a trial account. So there's really, I mean, that's like 60 hours of content you can play for free. And there are very few limitations with a free account. Like you can't join a guild or a free company as it's called in that game. A couple other things, but definitely worth trying. I gotta pick that up again soon. I'm kind of behind. I got into it last year, and right now I've played through the base game and the first DLC. I gotta pick that back up. I don't know if I'll be able to get caught up in time for the next expansion this fall, but we're going to the moon this fall in the expansion, so that's pretty exciting. They balance like new stuff, new interesting content, and like the fan servicey, like Final Fantasy whatnot crap, really, really well.
Yeah, I still need to try it.
You definitely should, man. If you guys do, let me know, and I'll tell you the server I play on. The only reason I'm not saying what it is right now is because I don't remember the name. It's one of like the stock Final Fantasy enemies. It's like a panther with like the long, like insect feelers. Whatever the hell that thing is called, that's the name of the server I play on. You guys are like, what the hell is he talking about?
My toe!
My toe! My toe! Ah, it's gonna drive me crazy. What is that server called? Pizza time! It's gonna be pizza time for us tonight. We're gonna be ordering some Domino's. I was telling NINTENMAD here about my I was playing that Shinobi Saturn game last night when I started playing the other night on stream. I got to the 4th stage, which my opinion of the game kind of went from really good to I don't know about this, because that 4th level is so bad. It's like a minecart level with no checkpoints. And you're just getting bombarded with enemies in like a really bad game design kind of way. I was telling him it's like, picture the toughest, like most bullshit level from Donkey Kong Country, but then add like 2,000 ninjas popping out of thin air to kill you. And then, if that wasn't enough, you get to do one of these kind of elevator levels where you fight people off. And that's loaded with plenty more unfair horseshit. We were talking about, we were playing Contra earlier. Like, good difficulty in a game, fair or not. That's a pretty obvious example of poor difficulty. Alright. While I'm playing here, I was kind of multitasking.
Here we go.
Yeah, the server I play on is, it's on the Crystal network and it's Coworl. But of course, just message me if you guys forget that, in case you're interested. Mal's cool. Maybe I'll replace my Snake game addiction. Maybe. The game, it has lots of cutscenes during like the main story quests, and you can skip all of them, of course, if you want. Which honestly, during like the main story, the base game, everything other than like the voiced story cutscenes, I would skip them. The story doesn't really get good until the first expansion. But hey, if not, great time to play some shit on your phone. Play some more Snake. Anyway, let me put my focus back on Ninja Turtles here. So we gotta throw the enemies at the screen here. That's what the objective is.
That's right.
Yeah. When I was a kid and I didn't know how to consistently throw these guys, I would just be like doing this either for like
Forever.
a half hour or until my lives ran out.
Back when you couldn't look up how to do things.
Right. Because I don't remember if I think my parents might have just like found the cartridge of this somewhere for me. I don't remember if I ever had the box. So yeah, no manual, no box, no internet, no game facts. Just, you and the game.
Also, manual and box, that goes in the trash.
Yeah, man. I think of the amount of boxes I threw away as a kid. I had Earthbound. My parents bought me. I had this friend when I was a little kid. I was a little. I was probably around like 8 or 9. This would be 98, 99. He knew about all the JRPGs. I knew about some of them, but he knew about all of them. He got me into Earthbound, Chrono Trigger. No, not Chrono Trigger. He definitely got me Earthbound. Anyway, so I would then ask my parents, "Hey, can you get me this game?" And because this was a few years after they had been on the shelves, you know, they'd usually turn to eBay. So 1997, Christmas 97, 98, I got Earthbound in its box, complete with, you know, strategy guide, manual, all the little, whatever, all the pack-in stuff. And my mom probably paid like $30 for that.
Yeah.
And I threw the box in the trash. Now, look on eBay. Look how much just the box for Earthbound goes for. You'll feel your stomach do a backflip when you see that. At least I did. I mean, the cartridge goes for like 600 now, 700, something ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I still have it.
Last time I saw it was completed. It was like 4,000 or something.
That's insane.
And even a year ago, it was like 1,000.
All the
Gone
games.
up quite a bit in the last year.
Mouse, yeah. All the games I've sold. Exactly.
Yeah, those GameStop employees / EV Games, depending on where you were, they should be arrested.
Yeah.
Preying on kids like that.
Crimes against humanity.
It's like, yeah, yes, I want to get my new, yes, I want to get a GameCube. I'm gonna sell like half my,
Right.
like PS1 games.
Right, exactly.
Do that.
Yeah, even after the age of throwing away boxes, you know, it's like, why would I don't need the box. You know what I mean? Like at the time, it would be like keeping like a box to like, you got some Cheez-Its. Like, why am I going to keep this box? It's completely irrelevant to the product inside, you know? But even after that, you're right. You get into the later era, you know, we start to get into our teens. We don't quite have jobs yet, or maybe we do, but of course they pay like absolute shit. And we're like, oh, I want to buy a new PS2 game. Well, let me sell like 5 other PS2 games I have, and it'll pay for like half of a new PS2 game. And I kick myself over and over and over again.
Yeah.
What's the most expensive game you sold before it like became valuable?
Probably Mega Man on the Super Nintendo. Mega Man X3.
Yeah, that one.
I didn't sell that. My brother did.
Yeah. So something.
I probably would have sold it too if I had the, opportunity.
Well, at least you probably would have done so a little bit more sensibly.
Yeah.
So something NINTENMAD and I have in common, as he just mentioned. Unfortunately, we both have brothers that sold some stuff without our permission, to put it mildly. So beyond our own, mistakes or like letting things go when we shouldn't have, we also had a lot of crap that we both lost that really shouldn't have been. Not only gone without our permission, but sold for peanuts. You know what I mean? Like instead of I'll say like my brother, for example. Instead of like selling some of this stuff on like eBay, where it actually, at least it would have gotten its value. No, he'd go like flip it at GameStop or another similar local store, and get like an eighth of what it was worth.
Give you 5 cents for it.
And then go buy another eighth. Or another variety.
I mean, what was the local Bull Moose taking Super Nintendo games for?
Right, exactly.
When you worked there.
Yeah.
5 cents. We'll give you a dime. That's how they were like VHS or
Yeah.
something. Remember when they'd tell me that? They'd be like, we'll give you a dime.
Yeah.
Like a dime? Like,
There's
that seems like an insult. Like, why dime? Why specifically a dime? Like, not a quarter?
It's like
why specifically dime?
I'll tell you that. Because realistically, the majority of that stuff is not going to move.
Right.
Like, sure, we'll buy all these VHS tapes from you, but we are not going to sell 99% of that. Like, we are literally going to build, like, gimmick displays out of, like, mountains of VHS tapes.
Right.
Yeah, go ahead and grab that.
Were there people that would go in the store and would just want VHS tapes?
Oh, yeah.
Like, tons,
Sometimes.
Like they would just buy up tons.
Sometimes, for sure. Absolutely. But for the most part, they just stacked up higher and higher and higher. sometimes, you know, we would, as employees, we would see like, cause I worked at Bulmer's for a while, this record chain we're talking about. They also sell a bunch of other stuff. I worked there for a couple years, and we would see stuff that would come in that would be like, both VHS tapes where it's like, oh yeah, that looks funny, you know, probably like so bad it's good, and sometimes it was. But then also, yeah, with the games, you know, I acquired quite a few games, even like loose discs and stuff, where it was like, we're buying this back for 10 cents. It's gonna end up in a grab bag. You know, what that is like, I'm gonna, you know, we'll grab like a random 5 PS2 like loose games that we bought back, whatever condition they're in, shove them into a cardboard bag, seal it, and then you buy that for $5. And if you get something cool, great. And if not, too bad.
I remember getting an Xbox one of that, and I got like 4 Counter-Strikes in it.
The thing is, too, it's like, let's just say, it's like, as employees, we were definitely digging through that stuff and picking out the gold, you know. Like Paper Mario 1000 Year Door for GameCube.
Yeah, grab it.
Mario Kart Double Dash, others like that. I was snatching those up.
Just disc only?
Disc only, but still, like, you know, these are great games, and
oh yeah,
games 100%. That would still go for a lot more than that, even if they were disc only.
Oh yeah.
Malice, what's your biggest regret for selling a game? There's like one game that you sold, you're like, holy shit, either from a financial perspective or just regretting selling it because you liked it. What's your biggest regret? Yeah, we're gonna let Slash do a little Sonic spin there. Dang. This game is a lot easier to play, for sure. I don't think they adjust the difficulty at all for 2 players. Nice. I love that shredder head back there. Now, honestly, I still wish I had my Halo games, good childhood memories. Honestly, but when I moved on from the 360, I sold those. Yeah, those are great choices, especially considering the Master Chief collections for like modern system versions. They've gotten a lot better than when they first launched, but they still have some issues. Like Halo 1, even if you play that in like the classic graphics mode, because you can like switch back and forth between them, it's still not how it was on the Xbox. It was still missing a bunch of effects.
Yeah.
It's a shame. It's like Bungie is obviously long gone from that series. Yeah, watch out for that Sideshow Bob moment. Mouse, is it really that hard to port games? You know, you'd think so, considering some of the ports we've gotten in the last 10 years. I know specifically with Halo 1, the issue is that all of the subsequent ports have been based on the PC version, which was itself a port of the original Xbox version. And that PC version wasn't handled by Bungie, it was handled by Gearbox, who is a company that...
Yeah, I remember that.
Oh my god. Gearbox, you guys have squandered all of the goodwill you may have earned in the early days of your career for a variety of reasons. Randy Pitchford, I will never forgive you for what you've done to Duke Nukem. Anyway, yeah. So, but Halo 1, all ports other than the original Xbox version are based on the PC port that they did of the original Halo, which had tons of missing effects and all this other stuff. But because the PC architecture and code, you know, that was ported to is a lot closer to stuff on modern consoles than an OG Xbox. That's why they keep like basing ports on stuff like that. So it's like kind of understandable from like a layman's perspective where it's like, yeah, this is going to be a lot easier to port over, but ultimately it means it's going to be a lot less faithful. And ultimately, you're going to have the scrutinizing fans, the hardcore guys who are going to point out this stuff. And then you're gonna have to go back and kind of like try and recreate all these missing effects anyway. So I don't know. It's obviously gonna be different on a case-by-case basis, but I feel like you guys should just start with the original game again and port that. As hard as it may be, I think it will be worth it in the end. But obviously, there's lots of logistic and budgetary factors that are going to go into that.
They want to spend as little money as possible.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, when you have a publisher deciding the budget, unfortunately, they're not necessarily going to go with anything other than the cheapest option.
That's why we just need to get a more universal hardware solution for all these games.
I think from the PS4 and Xbox One forward, they're all based on they're basically like Windows architectures. Like even PS4, it's running on like correct me if I'm wrong, but it's running on an x64 system architecture. So porting that stuff is going to be a breeze. You know, that's why the PS4 games are all backwards compatible on the PS5. That's why, same thing with the Xbox, because with Sony, it's the first time that they actually kept the same system architecture and basically iterated on it. From PS1 to 2, totally different architecture, but the PS2, it all came together in a way where they were able to include a miniaturized version of the PS1 chipset on PS2s, so it was backwards compatible. And then for the PS3, same thing. For the launch models, you know, those backwards compatible models had a miniaturized PS2 chipset.
Which I own one.
Right. I did too, and it died, unfortunately.
I'm gonna have one.
Briefly afterwards, they allowed emulation on it, PS2 emulation, then for some reason dropped it entirely, but had retained the PS1 emulation on the PS3. And that's why all PS3s can play all PS1 games, because the system was strong enough to just emulate PS1 with no problems.
Yeah. So I take back my Desert Island answer. It would be a PS3 launch model.
Right. Yeah, because then I guess you'd have everything.
I think it does. I think it still doesn't play some games though, right?
There's a couple, but the majority of them.
And there's some bugs, but I don't think it's really any games that I really care about.
Well, I know one I played on my launch PS3. I played PS1 Silent Hill, and most of the time it worked fine. But the very first time I played it, I got this insane bug where it just started doing this crazy like white noise static. And I'm not talking about the radio. I'm talking about like major scary glitch where like at max volume you're just hearing this like horrible audio distortion.
Silent Hill 2 has some graphical glitches when you play through PS3.
When I was playing the PS2 version recently, I think I told you this. This was PS2 game on the PS2 system, but because my PS2 is like dying, I was having all this weird bugs at first, like enemies teleporting through walls. You know, making a scary game even scarier, because now not even walls could stop these enemies. They're just literally move through them. Pretty horrifying. Another great stage, another great piece of music here. With everything I was just talking about with the PlayStation, you know, how like, okay, PS3, we're strong enough to emulate PS1, so we'll just let people do that. Therefore, it is entirely a business decision as to why the PS4 wasn't backwards compatible with those games. You know, it's like, okay, we've got the robust internet connectivity here, we've got the PlayStation Network store. We'll sell these PS1 games. We're not going to just let people pop them in the system anymore. We'll sell Crash Bandicoot instead. You know, instead of just letting people play their discs. And with the power of the PS4, there's no reason why the PS2 games shouldn't have been emulatable as well. I can understand if it wasn't backwards compatible with the PS3 because, again, totally different system architecture, and it's a tall order to emulate PS3 games, but it should have at the very least been backwards compatible with PS1 and 2.
Yeah, I mean, come on. Like, okay, so yeah, people are still give people the option to buy it. There's going to be certain people that are going to want to buy it 'cause they never had the games.
Exactly.
But the people who have the games, like, yeah, like, really, you're going to lose that much money? Because I'm not buying freaking games again.
Right. I mean, and that's the thing with the PS3. You look at the PS1, you know, like options for PS1 games. Suikoden 2. You can buy still on the PS3 store.
Yep.
Officially, you can buy a digital copy of Suikoden 2, a
Yep.
game that goes on eBay for a used copy for like $300 now. You can buy a used digital copy officially for $10. Fantastic. It's like, obviously the majority of people are going to go with that, and you're going to make some money when otherwise you wouldn't have been. You're not making any money off the
Speaking
eBay
of
sale.
this, when they told everyone they were going to discontinue the PS3 store, and then a
Everybody,
bunch of people just went out and bought, like, started like panic buying games,
right.
and then they were like, "Oh, by the way, we're not gonna close that store, so we'll leave it open."
Right.
Was that a monetary thing?
You do have to wonder. It's questionable. It is a little suspicious. It's like these companies, they're not stupid. They have social media. They know what people are saying. They know how many people are still playing these systems. They have their own internal metrics of probably a degree in which we would never even imagine, you know. Yeah, it is kind of something to wonder. Alright, we hit this. Get these guys over here. Why not? Ports, though, man, it is a shame the amount of games that have, the amount of important, fantastic classic games which have gotten shafted with poor, underdeveloped ports. It's like the most infamous example is probably that Silent Hill HD collection back on the PS3 360. That's just insanely bad. But even today, it's just, come on, guys. Another one, I guess, just a weird thing is on Steam. The amount of games on Steam that are for sale that do not work with modern hardware out of the box. Like, yeah, maybe get it going with fan mods, but if you buy this game and you download it, oh, that sucks. If you buy this game, download this game, it's not going to work without you doing some extensive modding. Max Payne 1, one of my and 2, some of my all-time favorite games. You need to mod them to get them going. Mouse, why did they change the voice actors? If you mean for Silent Hill, I think it was some kind of contractual dispute where it ended up being cheaper for them to do that versus to work out a contract with the original voice actors, which is an insane shame, a disgrace, to put it mildly, considering how classic and iconic the voice acting is for those games. I mean, I think I might have mentioned this before, but they got, what's his name? Nolan North to do James' Silent Hill 2. She's like, Mary, where are you? Could you really be in this town? You know what I mean? It's like, James is like, he's supposed to be like this milquetoast, like, you know, completely like passive guy. They've turned him into the Uncharted dude. just a disgrace. A joke. You remember, there's like, beginning of Silent Hill 2, you're like entering the town, you see that sign, you know, welcome to Silent Hill. The HD collection, hey, we don't have that texture anymore. What kind of font should we use? Well, how about Comic Sans? Literally, like, I'm not making a joke here. Comic Sans, yeah, that's the right choice. Like, you guys should never work in the game industry again. All right, second to last level, 2020. Depressingly, a stage that was originally in the future and is now a year ago.
Yeah.
We are getting old.
2020.
Right.
Of course,
It's
a
showtime.
very ideal future in this game.
Yeah, can you imagine? Yeah, this is what we got. This is really what 2020 was like.
Enough said.
Enough said. It's funny, it still has like that retro futurism kind of aesthetic that you saw kind of starting in this specific iteration, I think, in like 80s. I mentioned earlier, I was talking to my dad about like, you know, the different like kind of cultural identities of the decades.
Mm-hmm.
You know, saying, you know, there has been significantly more time from the 60s until now than there was between the 60s and the 80s. I know, like, those 2 decades in particular, we're just kind of like talking about like the cultural touchstones, but you know, it's like same thing with like rock bands. Like, there was less time between Led Zeppelin and Nirvana than there has been from Nirvana to now. It's like way more time has passed. You know, it's like just like my buddy Solaire said, time is convoluted.
Mm-hmm.
And some nice Mode 7 action going on here. Yeah, we're crushing this, dude. We're definitely going to beat this tonight. Face the wrath of Super Crag. He's like 1/20th of the size of the version in the first level, but sure, Super Crag. I like his little anime face when you whack him.
Oh.
It's kind of easy, actually.
Yeah.
It's like easier than the first boss in the game. There we go. Gosh, team. There he goes. Little brain. I just got reminded of They Live for some reason.
Cowabunga.
Have you ever seen They Live?
No, what's that?
Oh man, you gotta check that out. It's one of John Carpenter's best from his heyday in the 80s. One of his best
Yeah, I
movies.
never
for
saw
sure.
that.
Yeah, Mel.
What is it about?
Basically, this drifter, you know, he's like wandering from town to town, and something seems weird, you know, about society. Like, it's, again, kind of topical. Like, the division between the rich and the poor is like getting just astronomical. But he discovers that there really is some kind of like secret. I don't want to spoil it, but there is some kind of secret plot going on that's like controlling society. And you ever see like the brand that's like Supreme has like ripped off like a bunch of the iconography from that movie? Like, have you ever seen like the shirts that just say like Obey?
Right.
That's from that movie.
Gotcha.
He gets a pair of sunglasses at some point. You know, it's like they're these special glasses. They just look like Ray-Bans, basically. He gets these sunglasses that lets him see like the truth of what's behind all the advertising that surrounds like society, as well as the true forms of a lot of people around them. But it really is
Interesting.
it's probably John Carpenter's most like on the nose like social commentary film, but it kicks ass. It's a great movie. I'd say about 75% of Duke Nukem's quotes come from that movie. I mean, especially once he puts the sunglasses on.
Right.
He literally, the line like, "I'm here to kick ass and chew bubble gum, and I'm all out of gum." That's from that movie.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you remember that scene in South Park where like Jimmy and Timmy are like fighting in an alleyway?
Yeah.
That whole scene is a reference to a scene from They Live.
Nice.
Yeah. Put on the glasses. No.
No.
Malice knows. She knows. Classic film. Malice, when I first watched it, when he said the bubblegum line, I was like, hey, that's Duke Nukem. Yeah. As much as I love Duke, and when I say Duke, I basically just mean Duke 3D. But 90% of Duke's lines are ripped from 80s and 90s movies. Between They Live and Army of Darkness, there's not too many original lines in there. Oh, we're getting pwned by these yellow foot soldiers. Groovy. Oh, let me get it. No. Hail to the king, baby. Duke Nukem deserves another proper good game. It's a shame. It's really a shame. Duke 3D, even if you were to remove the character of Duke entirely, that game is insanely good to this day. It's one of the best first-person shooters ever made. And of course, you add the element of Duke, and it just becomes legendary. Unfortunately, after that, culminating in Duke Forever, the developers seem to have forgotten that Duke was supposed to be like a parody of like the 80s like machismo thing, not something to be taken like seriously. And as a result, they blew it on a number of levels. That's something I could talk at length.
How can you like miss that like key component?
It's bad, man. It's really bad.
How can you like not understand that about the originals?
I don't know. I don't understand it. You can play Duke 3 and then make something like Duke Forever. I really don't get it. Script is so... Listen, people say Duke Nukem Forever is a horrible game, and they're right. It is a horrible game. It's really bad. I wouldn't recommend playing it. I don't think it has basically any redeeming value other than historical curiosity. You know, because the whole like super long development or whatever. But trust me, just read the Wikipedia article. Don't even watch a playthrough. It sucks. It's not worth it. And I say that as someone who loved Duke 3D. The thing is with Duke 3D, like I said, it's not only a great game, but the presentation is fantastic. It's a great looking game. You know, that era like Doom, the 2.5, D, where the environment's 3D, but the assets, characters, and all that, weapons are all 2D, and it looks fantastic. But the atmosphere of that game is insane. It's like, this, you have like the Duke Nukem theme on the title screen, which is like really like upbeat and like badass. But then almost all of the in-game music is very like dark, sinister, a lot of ambient music, and it's like presenting this like very grim situation. And the juxtaposition of like Duke like being like totally lighthearted, all these one-liners and stuff, it's a really effective juxtaposition. It's like the situation is so crazy, so grim, that only someone as over the top as Duke could possibly, you know, take care of it. "3D Realms," I guess I should say Gearbox, Randy Pitchford, if you're listening, put me in charge of the next Duke Nukem game. I promise it will be a fantastic game, and I will do it justice. I feel like it's not the first time I've said that on stream, but I say it because I mean it. You shellheads are dead. That's what you think, punk. Yeah, I think the jump attacks are the way to go here. The bubble. Did you ever watch the Ninja Turtles cartoons back in the day?
Of course.
Yeah. I had a bunch of it on VHS.
Had the action figures.
Oh man, I had an army of Ninja Turtles action figures. I had a lot of action figures as a kid, but I had probably close to 50 Ninja Turtles related action figures. One thing I was really fortunate with, I've mentioned this before, but both with like video games and, you know, action figures that I'm talking about now, I was always kind of like behind the curve as a kid, you know, by like a couple years. But that was a really good thing because that meant my parents were like scooping up all this stuff at yard sales for dirt cheap. And we were far from a wealthy family, you know. We were far from a wealthy family, but because we were able to get all this stuff from like yard sales and, you know, my mom's like coworkers, like their kids like growing, you know, like, oh, they don't want this anymore. Here, give it to your kid. I was really lucky to get a lot of stuff in a lot of ways, and a lot of these games, a lot of these Ninja Turtle action figures and whatnot. It's really cool. I tried to pay it forward with a flea market I did in I think it was like 2008 or so. I like got out pretty much all the old action figures out of like storage, and I bought a booth at a flea market for a weekend, and I just sold them for dirt cheap, you know, like 50 cents a piece. And I didn't make a lot of money, but it was really cool to see tons of kids like popping up and being like really excited about the stuff, because Ninja Turtles, as it was then and is still now, it's still really, kids love it. So they were like seeing all these like Ninja Turtle action figures they hadn't seen before. They were just like really excited for it. So it's really cool, you know. It's like a grown-ass man. I'm not going to be playing with any action figures. I don't need these.
Yeah.
I'm not the kind of guy to put them up on display either. So
Yeah.
it was cool to do that. That hole's our way home. No, so yeah, same. I was very fortunate of as much stuff as I did despite our income. It's awesome. Yeah, cool. Yeah, I was really lucky in that card. I'm glad you were too. So this is it. Back in the future of 1992, final shell shock. We haven't used a single continue either.
I did. I used one.
Oh, right. Okay.
But
Super Shredder is pretty badass from what I remember. Turtle Soup, my favorite. Got the British spelling. Super Shredder apparently also turned British. Yeah, you gotta watch that AoE there. By far the biggest health bar in the game. It's pretty though, just like Wait for him to teleport, back off, wait for the flame to go away, and then kind of like come in vertically and smack him. Turned you back into a regular turtle. Bastard. Yeah, you gotta like come in behind him. Or at least like in the middle. There we go. We did it. Nice work, buddy.
Bam.
I'm probably gonna play it on hard, man. That really wasn't too bad. Yeah, here's Shredder to tell us that we should have played on hard.
Very impressive for such young students.
Listen to this music. So good. Defeat the hard mode, and you'll be true ninjas. Apostrophe S, plural. Ninja is. Either way, it definitely was not right. Yeah, so get the real ending, you gotta play on hard mode. So maybe we'll do that another time. There's a song, I don't think it was that one. I was listening to this soundtrack and then some like Van Halen recently, like back to back. And I realized there's like a song, I mean there's lots of songs, they're all based around like the blues riffs basically. But it's just like, oh yeah, this is Ice Cream Man. Which again isn't originally an isn't originally a Van Halen song. It's like some kind of I forget who it's by, but it's like a proper old school blues song. I'm not gonna go through all these. See if I can find it. Where is it here? One of these tracks. I guess I would take my word for it. It's Ice Cream Man by Van Halen. Which is a great song, probably my favorite Van Halen track.
Mm-hmm.
Love that. Alright, that was Turtles in Time, our second game that we managed to beat tonight. What do you think, NINTENMAD? Should we wrap it up or take another crack at Golden Axe or call it a night?
Say call it a night.
Yeah, we'll go out on a high note. So, for those of you who joined us tonight, Malice, you guys are real ninjas to me. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Appreciate that.
Glad we were actually able to beat a game here.
I'm really happy that not only were we able to beat some games, but we had no technical issues at all. It was a really good feeling. I didn't think we were, because we're dealing with the Wii and everything. So it was all rock solid, but I'm still glad, the way the last time went. I'm really happy that everything went really smoothly tonight. But thank you for saying that. For those of you hanging out, lurking, thank you for joining us. Malice, of course, our MVP. She's always here. She's always rocking. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, this stream, it's kind of a little out of the ordinary with the scheduling. Thursday night instead of Sunday night. But as I said at the very beginning, NINTENMAD is moving back to Florida tomorrow. So we wanted to get him over here, hang out, and do one more stream. And we'll figure out some ways to do some more together in the future. But either way, I'll be back Sunday night. But let's all give NINTENMAD a nice warm welcome and a nice well wish to his trip back to Florida. I hope he has a good trip, and I'm sure you all do too. So I think you're going to be driving back, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. So enjoy the road trip.
Thanks, man.
Absolutely. Thank you for joining me tonight. So I think we're about to go demolish some pizzas in the ancient Ninja Turtles tradition. But again, thank you very, very much to everybody. We'll catch you next time. And Malice, thanks again for that Twitter link. I'll hit you up very soon. Malice says, have a good trip, NINTENMAD.
Thanks, Mouse.
Yes, thank you very much. You guys are the best. We really appreciate it. As always, thanks again for tuning in. And until next time, adios.